I don't even know the origins of Zaddy.
Me neither.
Just heard someone say it, and that's
okay,
it.
It's one of those things where like I don't know it and I don't want to ask because I think I should know it, and I haven't Googled it because there's no reason.
Scary,
I just haven't
right?
Googled it.
You never know what you're gonna get when you Google Zaddy. Zaddy origins, could be scary. That should be on Netflix, actually. I feel like that should be a Netflix show.
Zaddy origins.
What's that movie? Is it a hit? Ask her like she'll say, I haven't seen it.
Welcome to the Haven't Seen It podcast. This is a podcast where we bring people on the show, we get them really drunk, and they tell me about a movie that I've never seen before. I'm Alenka Zach.
And I'm Will.
And we're fucking here, baby. Back in Black. I don't know. I think that's a movie. I think that's M1211B. You know what I'm talking about? Men in Black 2, baby.
Yeah,
that's what it is. That's us. That's us.
Yeah. I don't think they were back in black. They were just always in black because they're men in black.
Okay. Well,
I think back in black is the AC/DC song, isn't it?
I don't know why we're asking me questions about pop culture because I think it should be fairly evident that I don't have a fucking clue.
Yeah, that is kind of the whole theme of our relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and that's fine.
Well, but guess what, Alenka?
Talk to me.
Guess what?
What?
This is our last episode before our big trivia night.
Is it actually? Because that makes me very nervous and stressed out. And I'm going to relish in this because this is probably going to be the last time I'm sober for like a long time afterwards. And it's not going to be good.
Well, yes, get ready because you're going to need some liquid courage.
Oh,
and that segues.
Familiar.
That's probably the best segue I've ever made in this entire podcast. But today, whenever you're listening to this, guests, we have wonderful podcast hosts of the Liquid Courage podcast, where she brings on women in the entertainment industry and asks them all the questions she's ever wanted to ask using a little bit of liquid courage, i.e. drinking or smoking. I just listened to the Aurora Brown episode and they smoked pot on that one. So call the police on Amanda Pereira. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. You said my last name perfect, Will.
Oof.
I didn't guess. That's a name I have heard of.
Oh,
wow.
That was amazing. Also, incredible segue. Like I wanted to clap, but I thought that would ruin something. So
yeah, I will say you're probably the first guest to ever not interrupt the intro. It's pretty exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? I also edit my show. So I'm like, let's give them a fucking favor and shut up while they're talking because then they have to edit me out.
I appreciate you so much right now.
It's all well.
Listen, it's a give and take. There's time for me to talk and there's time for me not to talk.
Oh, baby,
exactly.
You gonna be talking.
Baby.
This is pretty much your show. In like 2 minutes, this is yours.
Well, I also was just really enjoying the show. Like just listening to you guys. It was great.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
like, it's like when I like listen to your podcast and now I get to like see it live, hear it live.
You get to live it.
It's fun.
You get to feel the experience of being that person that gets to enlighten somebody. What?
You don't like our cute back and forth? That's
I told
never
you I
goes
hate
the way
it.
we feel
I
like
hate
we
it
want it to go.
so much. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like it.
I do leave you hanging like the worst improv partner you would ever have. So.
And I gotta say, Will, it really hurts me. Because I remember one time my improv teacher said that you're alone on stage naked with your partner. And that's all you fucking have, being naked beside your partner. And you didn't even throw me a pair of shorts. Do you get it?
Oh, not even shorts.
Yeah. Like of all the things.
I'm going to talk about that in therapy soon. So
I would love to. Can we start going to couples therapy?
I love also that like after this many episodes, the hope is still there that like maybe he will throw me the shorts, and it's like no, I'm fucking naked still. Great. All right, moving on. Maybe next episode. Great.
I can't.
That's sweet.
Can't do it.
I provide all the clothes but the shorts.
What am I supposed to do with that?
She just wants shorts though.
Yeah.
And everybody has a metaphorical shorts that they're just not getting. Can you tell tomorrow's my therapy day? I'm ready. I have notes.
Yes.
I have receipts and I have notes and I'm ready.
Stop. I've never gone. I can't wait for you. I'm living.
Oh my God, it's so fun. It's so great. I love it so much. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Dude, Alenka, I know now from firsthand experience.
Oh, damn.
That might be going too TMI in my own personal life. But
guys, we're all therapying
I mean,
up.
once you yeah. If you find once you find somebody that you click with, then it's like, oh my God, why didn't I start this sooner? There's so much to unpack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder if they'll like unpack why I have no interest in knowing anything about anything. And they'll be like, what is this about you? Like, what do you not know about yourself? Why are you hiding?
You know what,
please
Alenka?
leave me alone.
They will probably find that and unpack it and find that it's not pathological, like that it's not a bad thing or an unhealthy thing. And you can go around to all the people who made you doubt yourself or feel ashamed about it. And you can be like, fuck you. It's just a fact. It's not a negative thing.
Yeah, true. Yeah, no, I know I'm cool.
I'm projecting,
it's fine.
But you know what I mean?
I'm projecting.
Dropping truth bombs. So.
She's so ready for
the
tomorrow.
Shit out of this. I'm so ready, guys. I'm going to talk to her about the podcast. I'm so ready.
Well, you know what? I'm ready to unpack.
Here, look at the transitions today, Will.
I know he's actually doing okay.
What movie are we talking about today? Amanda. I'm going to ask Amanda, not Alenka this time.
Just picture Alenka or I, and it's Pretty Woman.
Ooh, that's a good transition.
Thank you so much. It's Pretty Woman, the 1990. Why can't I say it? Because it feels incomplete. That's the year I was born. The 1990 rom-com Pretty Woman, originally called $3,000.
Ooh.
What?
I know.
We'll find out why later.
Weird. Okay. I'm excited.
Well, why did you pick this movie? I know, I believe it was second on the list of priority for you. So
yes, my bad memory. I don't even remember what the first one was. Like we were chatting before we were recording, I misinterpreted and thought it was a movie I hadn't seen, which it was like half of your list, because I also haven't seen many movies. So then when you're like, no, we actually need one that you've seen, it was a shorter list. And I wanted it to be one that I'd seen enough times that I wouldn't like fully forget. So I've seen Pretty Woman a bunch. And the first time I ever saw it was actually, I saw a snippet of it in another movie that was my favorite movie for I don't know, 20 years, Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion with Lisa Kudrow. And in that movie, I think it literally opens with them watching this movie and making fun of a scene of it. And I was like, what's that movie? I got to see it. So it has a pretty little place in my heart. I thought it would be fun.
Cute.
And I haven't seen it in a long time. And I'm like, this shit for sure will not stand up the test of time. So let's check it out.
Honestly, it is weird. Yeah, it's a weird premise that I wonder how you would do it this day and age. But at the same time, was not as bad as I thought it was going to be in terms of what we would consider either PC or, what have you.
Or just ridiculous, misogyny that wouldn't have been called misogyny. But I was like, there were a couple things where I'm like, okay, a tiny, just a drop of feminism in here. Fabulous. We have a whisper of it.
Is this not a retelling of Taming of the Shrew? Is that not the idea? Is it not?
Okay. I was listening to your episode.
Come on.
Of the 10 things I hate about you, and you brought up She's the Man, and you brought up Shakespeare, and I was like, I thank God I'm doing Pretty Woman because I don't remember Shakespeare, and now you brought it up. I don't know.
Oh,
which one's Taming of the Shrew?
Really?
10 Things I Hate About You was Taming of the Shrew.
Oh, fuck, right? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. I'm not even 100% familiar with the plot of Taming of the Shrew, if we're being totally honest.
It's the plot of 10 Things I Hate About You, which we went through already. So,
which I just can't wait for our next episode because I'm going to ace every trivia question. I very much remember that episode so clearly.
This Friday, catch it. Okay.
I'm so scared. Okay, great. So don't fucking know this movie whatsoever. Can't wait to hear about all the lovely, beautiful sexism that happens and what else. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about it.
Yeah, tell us what you know. Tell us exactly how this movie goes.
Okay, well, I'll just tell you what I know. I know that Family Guy had a clip of Peter being Julia Roberts' character. And I don't really remember why, but I know that, we all know, we know the scene where she goes for the necklace and what's his name is just like, nyet, and he closes it on her fingy poos. And then in Family Guy, obviously it was Peter in the dress and he's just like, he. But then also, fun fact, and I don't remember where I heard this, apparently Julia Roberts didn't know that what's his nuts was going to close the case and her reaction was true. So that's what happens in the movie.
True. Good job. That's pretty
Thanks.
good.
I know. That's all I know.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm
That's the
guessing, I don't
entire
know,
plot, yeah.
Oh, wait, I know what she is. Is she not like a lady of the night? Is that not her deal? Is that the thing? Yeah, okay. I see some looks. You guys think I do? I know.
Do you see him like looking at Will? I'm like, what can we tell her?
I mean, yeah. So she.
This is where we don't throw her the shorts. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
love.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
shorts.
So
Okay.
she does the street thing. She's hanging out. She's got her corner. She's like, this is my fucking corner, baby. I got my clients that come to me. Whatever. And I really don't know where this guy comes in. I guess he was perusing the streets and he's like, hey, it looks like you're employable, but not in this capacity. And he wants to elevate her life to some extent with gowns and jewels. I don't know how that's better, but okay. That's what happens, I guess. And then they fall in love probably because Julie Roberts probably like, oh, he's giving me gifts. And I don't have to sleep with him. Wow. And she's just like, this is new for me. And so she's actually just confused. So she thinks she likes him, but it's probably very not a good relationship if we evaluate it in a different light. Yep.
And do you think that's how it ends? Like, is that how it ends?
That they hang out and they're like, oh, I don't know. Maybe they get married. I don't know. Yeah.
They
get married. Yeah,
Okay.
for
Only
sure.
time will tell.
For sure. Yeah, they do. Definitely. So
Little pretty wedding. Okay.
pretty little wedding.
Pretty little wedding. My big fat Greek wedding. Pretty little woman and my big fat Greek wedding. I love it.
Fuck, I just remembered how many movies we've done and I'm so nervous for the next episode. God damn it.
Do you notice that I'm slowly dropping names of movies you've done?
Okay. Yeah, I'm
The
so
Easter egg,
upset.
find it.
Subliminally gliding
Yeah.
into your
Yeah.
mind.
I'll try and
Yeah.
drop the name of all 49 tonight so that
That'd be amazing.
your brain is
I
prepping.
would love that. I was gonna listen to our episodes and then I was like, nah, I'm gonna listen to some sleep meditation instead. So here we are. I sleep well. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. Not even watch the movies, just listen to our episodes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's the most. Come on. Don't be
Sometimes our
silly.
episodes are double the length of the
I
movies.
was gonna
So
say, like,
Are
you
they?
might actually save time watching the movies because podcast episodes
True.
could be just as long.
True. They're just harder to find. That's
Fair.
the issue. It's a real
Fair.
issue.
Totally fair. Yeah, I had to find this one on my family's Disney Plus account.
Cute. Surprising that it's on Disney
Me,
Plus.
100%.
oh yeah, because it's on. There's the new Stars on Disney Plus, right? Is
Yeah.
that's why?
I
Yeah.
guess so. Because I was like, how is this on Disney Plus? I did have to up it to like past like I had to do 14 plus. Ooh.
Ooh.
You know? I was like, I promise.
Special
like,
parental
Mom,
lock.
Yeah, give me parental control. I need to watch Pretty Woman. It's for work. It's for work.
It's for
Yeah. That's great.
Well, Amanda, I know you had
Yes.
mentioned you're kind of excited, or you wanted to talk about the drink that
Well-
I made for tonight.
Yeah, this
Okay,
actually
well,
sounds
I had to talk about
nice.
the drink. Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds
And it
amazing.
looks cute.
And I will be making it. And I just need to preface. Here we go. Listen, if it is someone else's show or someone else's party, I'm like 100% I'm going to be doing that. And
Yeah.
because of my podcast, every episode I have, like you guys, I have a different drink because it's whatever the guest wants to drink. If they want me to make something that has like 10 ingredients, I'll do it. If it's their beer, I'll drink that. So I have so much alcohol at my apartment because I don't drink that. I live alone. I don't drink that often outside of the podcast. However, for the past couple months, I have been locking it down because of COVID at my parents' house, and I have no alcohol here. So all I have is a bottle of red wine that is from one of my podcast episodes. Well, it's
Stunning.
the type from there. And
Yeah.
the only wine glass I have is this wine glass that's like
Yes.
adorned with birthday girl painting that I don't even, this might have been like, I was going to say a 16th birthday gift, but I'm pretty sure
You
it's
did
not
not get
16th
that for
birthday, like,
16
for
years
alcohol.
old. Really? You had some cool
No.
friends, man.
No, like this was probably like 19th. Like I don't think
Yeah,
it was for
yeah.
16th. I'm gonna guess. So I just like I want you to know I fucking care so much about this drink that you made, and it sounds amazing. And I will be making it, and I will send you a photo as soon as I eventually move back down to my apartment. And I will make this drink, and I will send you a photo of me drinking it.
Oh my God. I'm
Honestly?
excited.
Amanda, that's more
Beautiful.
commitment to the drink that I've ever put in. I'm telling you that. I'm
I
serious.
felt so bad. I was like,
oh, it's fine. Will's used to it. He'll be like, oh yeah, I made this thing and it's gorgeous and it's delicious. And he'll be like, cool, I'm drinking 7-Up.
Well, also, I will say I haven't drank for like 2.5 months. So 'cause I didn't have anything here. I'm only drinking tonight because of the podcast. So we'll
I'm
see
glad
how
we could
that
just like
goes.
drag you back in.
Yeah.
That just sucked me back into the underworld. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
I'm
This is gonna be
excited.
fucking great.
For those listening and wondering what this drink is, yes, it is called Cinda-F Rella. We're gonna try to say it in the accent that gets said, but and it is champagne with a little vodka, some lemon juice, and you garnish that with strawberries. So it's actually like a nice little drink. It's not like Mom's Spaghetti from our 8 Mile episode.
Yikes. Looked good though, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
it did look good.
Honestly,
Alinka made that one for me. That was great.
Yeah. I thoued about actually trying it, but then I decided, nah, I think the sink would like it better. So I dumped it.
I loved 8 Mile as a kid also. I had a huge crush on Eminem. So I watched that like a lot.
Me too.
Yeah.
I also had a crush on Eminem.
Yeah. I think everybody did. I mean,
didn't. I can tell you straight up, I did
That's
not
fair.
at all.
That's so fair.
Yeah.
So valid. So this is the first time I opened a wine bottle in a very long time. I'm just going to pour myself some more because I don't want to have to pour it throughout. We'll just load it up.
Load it up because we're about to get
get in,
another
baby.
Transition that felt smooth, like this.
That was
red
such a
wine.
smooth
Am I right?
transition.
Smooth.
We're getting so many sponsorship opportunities from this episode, guys.
Exactly.
Zaddy Zencaster, Apothic red wine,
Zen.
like we're killing it.
One day.
Well, Amanda.
Yes, Will.
How does this movie start?
Oh my doozy, let me tell you. Well, it starts at Jason Alexander's party. And let me just tell you, I can't use character names. I don't know what his name was.
I forget
Who's
to
Jason Alexander? I thought that was the
George
character name.
Costanza.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Jason Alexander and also
Thank
the guy
you.
from Home Alone and also the guy from Sunny in Philadelphia. I mix them all up. Danny
Danny
DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
And also, who's the guy who's one of the bad guys?
Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
You get all three of those guys mixed up.
Yeah, all the time. All the time. I did it on my podcast. Where did I just go? And my podcast and my guests made fun of me, and it was awful. So Jason Alexander, I do feel like I know better now, and I feel like I won't mix him up. Because I've been writing Jason a lot in my notes. So Jason Alexander's having some big spoofy party.
Soiree in his LA
soiree.
home.
Oh, yeah. In an LA home. It's very, very fancy. And it opens with some dude. It just opens with hands. And he's doing this sleight of hand trick with like these coins, this dude. Oh. And he ends up basically saying like, to these two women who he's doing this magic trick to, which also like, why are you at a douchey fancy party and there's a douchey magician? Like this already starts disgusting. But the man basically says to the women like, see, you like, it's all about money and like, you've got all of it, you've got all the power, but really you've got nothing. And I wouldn't trust you with gold. So like, here's pennies. Like it was a lot of metaphors being shoved down your throat about gender roles and who should have what power. And you're like, dude, just do your fucking magic trick, drink your champagne and move on. You have no problems. Like you're very privileged.
Yeah.
That's the way it opens.
Cute.
Which is fun.
And then that's a good transition to the next person that we're also supposed to feel just like, let's feel bad for poor rich Richard Gere.
Oh,
that's his name.
Super wealthy Richard Gere. That's his actor name. His actual name is Edward Lewis.
Edward Lewis.
Is it?
Yes, that's
Shut
true.
the fuck
in the
up.
show.
Are you serious? That's his fucking character name? I thought that was his real last name.
Wait, no, his real name is Richard Gere.
Okay, fuck, thank you. You guys, I'm freaking out.
I understood how that sounded, and I was like, no, Alinka might feel like she knows nothing, but we have to give her something.
Thank
you do know that. You're welcome.
Character Edward Lewis, we will refer to him as Richard Gere.
Thank you.
Yes.
Fuck, Will, you fucked me up for a hot moment.
I'm sorry, I pulled the pants away for a second.
You really pulled the shorts, and he's like, no, you can have them back. He just pants you on the podcast. So yeah, he's like on the phone with his girlfriend Jessica, and he's fighting. I'm actually surprised about how much I'm remembering. I know we're only like a couple minutes in, but I'm very proud of myself. So he's talking to Jessica on the phone, who is his girlfriend, and Jessica's basically saying like, why do you expect me to be at your beck and call? Like, this is so unfair. And Richard's like, basically she decides she's gonna move out while he's in LA on business, and she lives with him in New York. And she's just like, screw this.
And yet another example of these movies. It's the same, like every late 80s, early 90s movie were portrayed. It's like this super wealthy businessman works way too hard for his money. He can't keep relationships. He can't keep anything because he is working all the time.
So hard.
Yeah. And yet we're supposed to like feel bad for him. Like there's always a little bit of a hint of an origin story of like, but it's just because he doesn't think he deserves love and he's been hurt and there's loss. And like, don't you feel bad for this guy who's like shitting on everybody and projecting all his problems, who could afford therapy and clearly isn't going? Like it's really annoying.
It wasn't acceptable back then, the 90s.
Well, that's fair. But I mean, it's not acceptable the way he's acting. You know what I mean? He's like, Jessica, get out of here. Who cares?
Oh,
so she moves out.
He's a visitor. Yeah, he's a visitor in LA. He doesn't live there. So he's like immediately just leaves this party and takes Jason Alexander's really nice car.
Yeah. Which he can't drive. It's a stick and he cannot drive. And Jason Alexander's like, please don't. And Richard's like, I gotta go. And he takes this car. So Jason Alexander is Richard Gere's lawyer.
Yeah. And
Richard
get this.
Gere's like
Richard Gere's job is he buys big companies and then sells them piece by piece to other people
for more
basically
money.
Dismantling other companies. That's it. Yeah.
He dismantles companies but never dismantles the patriarchy is basically his role in this whole movie. I'm pretty sure actually Julia Roberts' character says like, so basically it's like you steal cars and sell them for parts, something like that, which it's like, but I don't steal them. And he's like, we'll see about that. So he drives off in this stick that he cannot drive at all. And
embarrassing.
He's like, poor Richard, it's before Google Maps. So like he's lost in the Hollywood Hills and he turns around in the driveways and he's trying to find Beverly Hills. And he ends up down in like, I think it's West Hollywood, I guess is where he ends up.
Yeah, I think he's like Hollywood Boulevard, near the area like Skid Row, that kind of area.
Yes. On that note, I'm going to take my first sip of wine in 2.5 months. And I just felt like I had to like take a moment for it.
Yes.
There it is.
Oh, it's just as good as I remember. My voice immediately changed. Okay, so Richard Gere's at Hollywood.
That medium tier Ontario wine. I don't know.
So good. I don't even know where this is from. California, because that's
California.
where the movie takes place.
That's true.
Shut
you
up.
Intended that.
Got him.
Oh, fuck. I should have known that and put that in there. That's fine. I wouldn't have been truthful. That's fine.
Yeah. But I think at this point he drives up and we're introduced to Julia Roberts' character.
Yes. You see prostitutes on the street and it's a close-up of Julia Roberts in underwear on a bed, basically. And it's all these like photos on her wall of her and previous partners, but all their faces are scratched out or like the photos are like ripped.
Okay.
I just love how they like, I love how movies of this time paint a picture of the characters for you. They're just so caricature-y sometimes. Like, she can't keep a man because she's in her underwear and they can't deal with her, like, her career. And anyway. So that's
wait. Are these photos of, like, past boyfriends or just past, like, clients?
It doesn't say, but I'm thinking boyfriends because it looks like it's of, like, different ages.
There's a lot more emotion, too. I feel like, why would she care?
We get introduced pretty early on that like she's fairly new to being a lady of the night.
She's a rookie sex worker right now. Yes. And it kind of intercuts between like her zipping up her long, pretty boots, like her getting ready for work. And him driving around and stalling this stupid fucking car. Or like almost stalling this stupid fucking car.
Get it
He's
together.
He's awful at driving. Yeah. And so then we see that like we're introduced that she needs money because she's like...
Has a roommate.
Oh, she has a roommate, yes. Yeah. And she only has $1 in her savings in her little toilet tank that like... which she seems surprised. And her landlord needs money. So she gets out like the fire escape or something. She like sneaks out.
Which just goes to show like she's like... She gets rough and dirty climbing down things. Like she's not afraid to climb down a fire escape.
She'll do whatever the fuck she needs to. Yeah.
Kind of girl. Yeah.
She is afraid of confrontation with the landlord, but she is not afraid of heights, which does come in later.
It's actually
she should go to therapy for that.
She should go to 100%. And also the landlord should go to therapy for his situations also. But she is not afraid of heights. She has tall stilettos and she climbs out this fire escape. And then they show what I love. I don't know his name, but I love him so much. He's in that movie also with Julia Roberts, and he plays like her lover who has like an aggressive lisp. And here he plays the police officer, and just suddenly they're talking about a dead prostitute on the road. Like just very suddenly, it's about a dead prostitute on the road. And what? Oh, I don't even remember his name, but he just has like a quick little cameo. He's mad at tourists taking pictures of this dead body.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And she just walks right through the crime scene.
Right through.
It's just like
she's like, it's just another Tuesday.
She's now a suspect. Because she just walked through that crime scene, leaving her DNA.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
She just,
I would believe you.
It's very difficult for Alenka to tell when we're being sarcastic. Because we're like, so now she's a crime suspect. And they take her to interrogation. They say, what do you know? She's like,
I believe it.
So she goes inside this like dancey bar that makes me miss bars. And she's like looking for someone. And she goes up to the bartender. I think his name's like Pops or something. Because I remember thinking, like, was that her dad? Because she's like, Pops. And I was like, no, I think that's just a nickname. That's not her zaddy.
Yeah, it's not her dad.
I should also say I just use the word zaddy, but I don't know what that means. So I don't actually want to use the word zaddy. Yeah.
That's her zaddy.
No, I'm so nervous about it. I want to use it. I just can't.
Right? We got to figure out what it means. So she asks her zaddy, like, we don't know. Where's blah, blah, blah. And it ends up being her roommate, Kit, who is a drug addict, we're assuming, because Julia Roberts is getting mad at her because she's like, you spent all of our rent money on drugs.
Yeah. She's also a fellow sex worker as well.
She is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she has like a pimp and is trying to maybe get Julia Roberts to also maybe work under this pimp. But Julia Roberts is all about, no, we dictate prices. We dictate everything. It's us.
Is she with the pimp yet? Or is she like thinking about it?
Well, she owes money to that pimp for drugs. So she's working that money off.
Right. You're right. That's why she stole the toilet money, because she gave it to, I forget his name, something with a C. I put on subtitles. Something with a C. Charles? I don't know. Yes.
Chuck. Yeah. Chucky.
Oh, yeah, that's the same name. So that would totally both work. What a great yes and moment you just had, Will. You were like, yes, it is Charles and it is Chuck. That's beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was a beautiful shorts moment. So she's like, I had to pay Chuck back. And you can tell that although Kit, the friend, which is not her real name, that's the character name. I don't actually know what her real name is. She's like the mother sex worker. Like she took her in and she's like, I took you in when you had no money, blah, 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 blah. But clearly in the maturity or in like the maternal instinct, like taking care of, Julia clearly takes care of Kit. You know?
Got you.
Yeah.
Is what we're feeling in this dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Because she's like opening her up to being like, hey, like we have to have confidence, and it's we're our own boss in this job. We don't have to rely on.
Totally. We have to stay in charge.
Yeah.
And in that moment, so they're not at the dance bar anymore. Now they've gone out to work and they're on like a street corner. And they have a
little turf battle with another sex worker.
With another sex worker. Yeah. And Kid is like, do you see this star and this star and this star? You get off. Like, this is our turf. So then the girl leaves. Oh, and Richard pulls up in his shitty driving car. And I think he stalls the car. Like,
he's just stalled, but they think he's going to be like a client. So Julia, with her boots, which when watching this, if you're just looking at the top half in the shots, you're like, why would anyone assume like, you know, their sex workers are working? And I think the only indication is just the super high leather boots. That's it. Like, because generally what they're wearing is not like, oh, this looks like fashion.
It just looks like fashion.
It looks cute. I mean, I'm pretty sure Kit is wearing like what I wear. Like she's wearing like a large denim jacket and like a little bit of hair up and like a tiny little ponytail. And I think, I mean, I guess maybe Julia Roberts has like, and I wonder, Alenka, if you know
like
this outfit, maybe.
I know
she
the
has,
fit.
Okay, the blue skirt, the white top with the round thing in the middle.
With the weird cutout sides, right?
Yeah, and she has like a little blonde wig on. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it probably is the boots and like approaching the car in that way. Well, because he didn't even pull over. Like he didn't even mean to.
He just stalled that baby.
But Kit and Julia I think her name's Vivian. Vivian. So Kit and Julia think that like he's coming over and Kit's like, oh my God. Or, oh no, he drives such a nice car. Like, Julia, you look so hot. I'll let you have him, like, go get him. Which right away, I was like, listen, in this relationship, there needs to be more give and take. Because, like, sorry, you stole the money. Julia's doing all the work, and now she also has to work. You should go. If I'm Kit, I'm like, I'll go do this to pay you back. But anyway, that's fine. That's their relationship.
Yeah.
Therapy.
I didn't even think of
So she approaches the car, and it's very clear Richard Gere he just wants directions.
Fucking
Honestly,
Richard Gere.
from the moment she gets in the car, or at least leans over,
Yeah.
to like later on in the movie, we'll get there. Like those hours they're together,
Yeah.
I'm unsure of his intentions right up until like a certain point. I'm like, what's he doing?
Yeah. And you know what? I actually read that he was way more he was way more emotional in how he wanted to perform it. And the director was like, no, hold on. Like one of the characters gives and the other one stays in their position. And which one do you think you are? Stay in your position, like be a little bit more unreadable.
Be aloof, yeah.
Be aloof, yeah. He comes across very much like Zaddy in a bad way for me. Quite condescending, very overbearing, very controlling, where I'm like...
Bizzaddy.
The sad little Zaddy. A Bizzaddy.
Yeah, Bizzaddy.
A Bizzaddy who is treating Julia like a daughter, but like a sexual daughter.
Yeah.
So weird.
It is so
strange.
about
Complex,
this.
but like reversed.
Yeah.
It's very strange. So he's basically like, no, I want directions. And Julia's like, oh, fine, $10 or whatever. And he's like, no, $5, whatever. You can't make me pay for directions. And she's like, I can do anything I want, baby. I ain't lost. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. That's
pretty much. That's perfect.
So
actually.
much.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you see Julia for just a moment?
Yeah, just one. I was like,
Aaron
Brockovich?
Oh my God, hello.
Aaron
Brockovich. I fucking love Aaron Brockovich. That's
That
such a good
movie I've actually seen.
Oh my God, thank God.
Crazy, right?
So good.
Water.
So good. Oh my God. I watched
Aaron
that
Brockovich
religiously. Okay,
Stop.
Aaron
gets into the
Brockovich
car.
Okay,
gets into the car for like $20 and she's going to direct it. And she's going to like direct him. And this is where we find out that she knows a lot about cars. I don't remember why, but
she's from like the Midwest or whatever, right? She's just like, she's a country girl. She likes cars. She works on tractors. She grew up on a farm sort of thing. So she just fucking berates him about ruining this car's gears.
Like, you suck at this.
And he just sells and takes part businesses. He knows nothing about anything else but that.
Right.
No, he's a privileged motherfucking Bizzaddy who knows nothing.
Who got to the party in a limo, which is why he had to borrow his friend's super awesome car.
What a loser.
Who spent the whole party upstairs yelling at his girlfriend who's across the country. Like, just fucking Bizzaddy. So Bizzaddy, although I did like this, Bizzaddy pulls over and just says, okay, Julia, you're going to drive. Like, it's fine. There are moments in this.
Really? Because she's super excited.
Yeah, she's so excited. Which I was like, you know what? You go, Vivian. Like, you go, Julia. You get it. You drive that bitch. And I want to point out here that, like, I do kind of like this sort of foreshadowing that, like, it's not always going to be Richard in the driving seat. Do you know what I mean? He's not always going to be in charge of this relationship as much as he thinks. He always thought he's the driver. Actually, you fucking suck at driving the car of relationships, and you probably should let somebody else show you what you don't know, you fucking Bizzaddy.
It's true. Yeah. It's actually like every classic rom-com, one of those give and takes where the man is stunted and the woman gives him emotional depth.
Yeah. Right. And unfortunately, she still doesn't have enough power to really do anything with it unless he says, okay, you know, and I really do like the metaphors are very stuck. They're very gendered, but here we are, you know, in 1990.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is the moment, I think, and I'm curious what you think. I think this is the moment that Richard becomes smitten with Julia when she's very childlike in the car. This is the whole Bizzaddy Oedipus thing. Because she's like giving trivia about, like, what does she say? One of the things she says is, did you know that your foot is as long as your elbow to your wrist? And he looks at her as if like, I think I could love you one day. And it's like a moment.
Like, you need some work, but I will get there and I'll love you.
What?
It's like,
just
you know
right
what?
off the bat,
I think
just
I
like
could
this.
control you and mold you into what I want you to be.
I don't like that.
I think that's a good thought. Yeah, that's probably the moment the character is like, I'm not letting this go. Like, we're gonna form some sort of relationship.
Real? Ew! I don't like that we're saying the words form though and mold and like fuck off.
No, but it is, Alinka. Like, in the moment, very much in his eyes, what I see, again, probably projecting. What I see is that he's like, oh, look at this woman's body with this child's brain. I could work with this. That's what I feel like in the moment in his face.
It's a little like that.
Yeah,
it is kind of like that reverse situation of like. Well, it's kind of back and forth, but it's like the reverse situation of like, I can change him. It's like him almost, it's almost like, I can change her.
Yeah. Or like, I can manipulate her. Like, I can,
it's more like a,
and maybe not so like deviously intentional like that, but just like, oh, she's like a child. Like, she will not stand up in a power fight to me, which then is weird because here she is talking about this kind of like like child trivia. If like a kid goes to a dinner and is like, Mom,
Right.
do you know what I learned today? Like your foot is as
Right.
long as if you put your hand on your, and then
Yeah.
like a couple seconds later is when he's asking, oh, how much do you charge? And she's like $100 for an hour for a night, which is what her friend told her to say because it's such a nice car. And then he's like, I did remember this. He's like pretty stiff. And then she touches his flaccid penis and she's like, well, no, but it's got potential. Oh, I love it. It's so gross and I love it.
It's a good moment. It's a fun line.
There are some good little writers moments where you might want to barf, but you're also like, when they wrote that, they had a drink because they felt really good.
Yeah.
Like they had a pat on the back. The writers had a good day that day.
Yeah.
Because they felt good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they get to his hotel, which is like a super fucking fancy. He's in the penthouse suite, but she's gonna like wait for the bus. He's like, oh, not a cab, and she's like, no, I like the bus better. And then finally, he's like, well, you know what? Like, how much for like the night or something like that?
Yeah.
And I think she's like,
no, not yet. It's just an hour. Just an hour.
She's like, well, how about I pay you to come up with me upstairs again, though? And then they that happens. They walk in, but like. I think this is the moment where is this the moment we're introduced to that fucking bellboy?
I don't remember his name. Darren, Daryl, something.
Big D dog.
The guy in the elevator, that one?
Yeah.
Yes. I know what I didn't like too is he's like, okay, I want to hire you for an hour. And she comes inside and then he puts his jacket around her like, you want to hire a sex worker, but now you're shaming her for being a sex worker? You fucking asshole. I was so annoyed. I'm like, no, if you're ashamed of it, then you don't get to hire her. Go home, little boy. Get over it.
Don't do that stuff in that fancy hotel.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
But yes, this is the bell.
That's all they do.
Yeah. I think this is the bell. No, it is because they go into the elevator and she gets on the couch and he's like, and she's like, first time in an elevator or whatever. Yeah, it totally is that bellboy situation. But that bellboy
is always like looking and smiling, like
he's like
he knows what's up
every scene. Yeah, he has like a tiny little boner every scene for sure.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my god.
Yeah, made his whole night.
I want a side series with his escapades in the hotel.
That would be so great. It would be like American Horror Story Hotel, but like much lighter and much more fun to watch. Much lighter. Although I would love to have Lady Gaga in it, but like it would be much lighter. No Ryan Murphy, just much lighter.
Pretty Woman remade with Lady Gaga. That would be an interesting.
Oh my God, version. Lady Gaga, and also I think Julia Roberts was so good in Swirl. Right?
Oh, she's
Lady Gaga would be amazing.
So
in a Pretty
good.
Woman remake. Who would you put as the guy? And do not say Bradley Cooper. It can't be Bradley Cooper.
It can't be Bradley.
Like because naturally, I know it would work. But like, who would you put? Who would be the guy?
Ooh, honestly, I would go even a bit older.
Yeah.
And do what's his name?
Oh my God,
Tony Stark's dad, Madman.
I don't know.
You know?
Madman.
Yeah, the boss in Madman. What's that guy's name?
The guy who's married to Lisa Rinna from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Is he? I don't know.
Wait, that guy?
No.
Yeah, he's in Sex
hair?
and the City too. He has gray hair.
Harry
he's in
Hamlin?
Sex and the City. Yeah.
He has big glasses.
Oh no, not him.
Oh, the gray-haired one.
Yeah, he's Tony Stark's dad in the Avenger movies.
Oh,
how old are you going?
That's not helping it.
Maybe we could go Robert.
He's a bit older. Like he's probably in his 50s.
Say a bit.
But I feel
no
like
way older.
He could be.
He's got to be Tony Stark's dad.
Yeah,
he's got to be older.
Yeah,
Tony Stark is like
Richard
50.
Gere's like 40, and Julia was 22. Like they're not. They weren't close in age.
No, yeah.
I'm so
also
unexcited about what's
whenever
gonna happen.
I am picturing. I can't even picture Richard Gere. I'm just picturing. I'm just picturing Harrison Ford anytime I think of this movie for some reason.
What? Too? No, think of like Runaway Bride. They were together again. They did it.
Oh, true. Yeah. I'm still trying to find this guy's name again.
The same guy. I also think like who's Goldie Hawn's husband?
I don't know,
Russell?
but I imagine a very tan,
Kurt
leather-skinned man. Oh,
yeah, that's fair. Maybe he's a little. I think Kurt Russell could do it.
Mm-hmm. John Slattery, that's the actor. He might be kind of. He's getting kind of old though. But
right.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis could do it if you wanted to make it how you'd make it in 1990. But if you wanted to update it at all, Bruce Willis would not be a good choice.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I think We'll have to go back to this question, though.
Love it. You know what? Okay, this is my last one, is Jamie Lee Curtis. I want her to play Richard Gere's role. That's what I want. With Lady Gaga.
With Lady Gaga. That'd be good.
That'd be
or
sickening.
Jessica motherfucking Lange would be so good.
Stop.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So they're in the penthouse now.
Yeah.
They're up there.
I forget how much I love her.
Richard Gere, like, it's kind of like Julia's like, okay, let's have sex now because you paid me for an hour and like, let's do this. And Richard Gere clearly is like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to. He seems timid. You know what I mean? She pulls out like all these colorful condoms and is like, pick a color. Like, let's do this.
Yikes.
And he's like, let's just talk.
Yeah, he's like, I've got paperwork to do, basically.
Oh yeah, he's like, it doesn't mean like you're sitting on my facts. Like, fuck off, dude. Do some of the work. Like, get her a little aroused as well, Richard Gere.
Yeah. But this is why I'm like, is it from the beginning? He's like, I'm not going to treat you like a lady of the night. I'm going to treat you like I'm giving you gifts. I don't know. It's really weird.
I don't think it's so much for her as it is like he doesn't want to accept that he is hiring a sex worker because he has some shame and judgment for it, which like, fuck that. You don't need to.
Yeah.
And he has that. And so his own narcissism and ego is so big that he can't bring himself to just do what he said he was going to do. And so he's like, no, we need to pretend that that the reality is not happening. And he like orders champagne and strawberries. Shout out to the wonderful drink that you made.
Yes.
Yep.
And but he says, hey, he's just like, oh, you need to, eat the strawberry. It helps to enhance the flavor or something.
Yeah. He's like telling her how to eat it. And he like gaslights her from the beginning. Like the dude comes to deliver this champagne and strawberries and he's like staring clearly at Julia
weird
Roberts.
bellboy again. Yeah.
And she's like, what does he want? And then Richard Gere's like, he just wants a tip. And she's like, oh, and she feels stupid. And I'm like, no, bitch, he was checking you out. You're right. He's gaslighting you. This is right.
He's got these big, gross smile on, like, hey.
Like, oh my God,
I don't like the way you do it, Will. It looks so like accurate too. I hate it.
Yeah. The picture like a little bellboy hat. And he's like,
that's exactly what's happening. This is verbatim. He was in the movie. This was his demo reel. This is what happened.
Just
So we skip ahead like quite a few hours.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't. Oh no, he does, doesn't he? He does offer the whole night. Yeah, he asks like how much for the whole night, which this is another weird thing because she's like, I charge $100 an hour, but for the whole night, $300.
Yeah, I know it.
That's
I know.
Stupid.
Well, this is the
your
thing. It's like
better.
Julia's like, okay, well, what do I deserve? And now let's go down to 73% of that because I'm a woman. So she just cuts it down and she's like, never mind.
There you go.
She's
Yeah.
like, never mind. I think also it's not like she always charges $100 an hour. That's just what Kit said to do because of like the fancy car. So I think she panicked and thought like 300. Like I want him to still say yes.
Yeah,
I want
she
to
vastly underestimates how much he made.
Totally.
Really?
Totally vastly
And we will
underestimates.
find out later. There's a particular scene where I'm like, she would have to be kicking herself charging what she charged for.
Yeah.
But yeah. So 300. So she's staying the night, and it's like a few hours later, and they're watching old sitcoms. He's like literally doing work on the couch while she's like has snacks and the champagne and everything, just laughing,
Yeah,
like very loudly and very like
Lucy or something.
Yeah, and like she's being her. That's why I kind of like this. She's kind of being herself the whole time. She's never like being sexy. She never really plays sexy. She just is in some moments, but for the most part, she's just her kind of like goofy Midwestern self sort of thing. So that's what's happening. And he's like, again, this Oedipus like looking at her like, oh, look how cute she is. And then moves closer to her on the couch.
Yes.
She's on the floor.
This.
And then I know it is.
It is very like she's on the floor and she's like laughing very like uneditedly, like just herself. And she's like, it's like laying on her stomach and I don't remember. And she's like eating snacks and drinking champagne. And then this is where then it starts, he's like looking at her adoringly. So she notices and she goes over to him and he's like sitting on the chair and she's on her knees. And what's really cute is then she brings over a pillow for her knees. And I'm like, oh my God, I fucking love you. Yeah. And it's a cute pillow too.
Yeah.
And then this is the moment where he says, what do you do? And she says, everything, but I don't kiss on the lips. And he says, neither do I. What the
It's his
fuck does that
perfect
mean?
relationship.
What does that mean? What do you mean he doesn't? I literally rewatched it and was like, I need to ask Will what this means because I don't understand.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Like, yeah, he never kisses on the lips, like in his regular relationships.
Yeah, like, is that what he's saying?
Is
like,
that supposed to be like
I
a
don't do
form
it
of
for work.
intimacy? Right.
I feel like that
Yeah.
line is supposed to be delivered like, I think obviously he probably kissed his girlfriend. It's more or less that metaphorical, like, I don't like getting too close either to people.
Yeah. Like,
But
don't
yeah,
let
that is weird because I've heard of that, like in other movies and other things, like this
Really?
whole idea of kissing on the mouth is too intimate.
Right.
You know,
Which is
even when it comes to when
hilarious.
you're doing like, you know, group sex things or
Right,
anything like
right.
that. It's like,
Yeah,
but no
that's when you
kissing on the
hear it.
mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would
I
make
don't
sense to me
know.
if he had done like other exchanges with sex workers before. And he was
Mhm.
saying, like, in this context, I also don't kiss on the mouth. But this is clearly like his first time, or he's just really
You know what?
forgetting.
I think he's kind of like in his mind, he's saying like, you know, if I had a daughter, I wouldn't kiss her on the mouth.
Whoa,
if you were my
yikes.
daughter, I also would only let you kiss my dick, and I wouldn't kiss you on the mouth.
Oh,
Ew,
God.
It's
I'm so
disgusting.
stressed.
This is what I'm saying, though. These
Yeah.
are the tiny messages that we're getting
Exactly,
from watching
yeah.
this movie.
Doing it.
And I
He's
also like
subliminal.
Richard Gere and Julia
I
Roberts.
just don't know
Nothing
if they're
against them.
gonna or not.
They
Oh,
do.
well,
We don't
they
see,
do.
but
They
they do.
Okay.
They
I
do
think
it.
maybe just like the one thing in this movie, I guess, because it's a rom-com, is like you don't really see anything. You see Julia Roberts' nipple like once, but they don't show you the sex
No.
really.
It's not explicit.
Just
No,
one
it's
nip.
not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
But I will say, so they have this conversation and they're getting sexy. And before they go and get real sexy, she looks over the TV and watches I Love Lucy one more time and then
Yeah.
comes back and then
Really?
they like do sexy
Yeah.
stuff.
Before you get yours, let me get mine.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
so
That is exactly
funny.
that moment.
Yeah.
That is exactly that moment.
Yeah.
So then they do that, and then I think really the only thing is that's when he sees that it was a blonde wig because she has it. He has a shower or whatever, and it's like hanging, and she's sleeping in the bed with her like full hair.
Yeah,
That's
like
when
frizzy,
that's
red
when he
hair, kind of
noticed.
everything, yeah.
Like prior to that, he really thought that it was her real hair. Like
I
while
mean,
they did
he
it,
probably-
he thought
probably
like
didn't
that he
know
didn't
what
touch her
color her
hair.
hair
It
was.
didn't
Yeah,
come
yeah.
off.
Yeah,
Like come
He-
on.
Actually, he did touch her hair, so I think he knew. But this is when he's seeing her like with her wig off for the
Right.
first time, and she's asleep
Yeah.
naked in the bed with her like beautiful red curly locks
Mhm.
hanging out around her.
And he's, you know, doing work. He's a busy work
Oh yeah, he's still doing
businessman
work.
in the
Right.
morning. And he's like, got breakfast, and she comes out and
Yeah.
she's kind of embarrassed that she slept in, like, oh, I'll get out of your hair. You're probably really busy. And then he's like, no, here, have breakfast. And it's
Have
like
breakfast.
perfect pancakes. It's like literally,
Like
he's
he
like, oh, I
knows how
didn't
to
know what you
fucking
would like.
cook.
So I ordered everything.
Oh,
Yes,
he ordered
that's
it.
the
Never
one
mind.
moment that I fell in love with him a little bit. He's like, I didn't know what
Yeah.
you like, so I ordered you everything for breakfast. And I'm like, oh my God. But then he goes back into like an overbearing
And he's probably like, this
Bazadi and,
breakfast
like,
costs
reference.
more
Right.
than the night that you cost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
seriously.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yikes.
But then he's always like condescending her. Like he's like, don't sit there. Like she sits on the table and he's like, there's chairs, you know. Like it's just
Yeah.
so
Mm.
like, I
Like,
want
no
Gwen
one's
Stefani
that
to like,
proper.
exactly. Like, fuck
Yeah.
off. I want Gwen Stefani to jump out and just be like, it's my life. Like just,
Yeah.
like just, it's so annoying. Not Richard Gere. Edward Lewis is annoying.
Right.
So yeah, the whole scene is Julia Roberts endearingly talking with her mouth open. They basically told
Mhm.
Julia Roberts in this scene, everything that makes you seem like a little preteen, do it. Because we want to
Mm.
infantilize you the most
Yeah.
we can. So
Yeah.
she's shoving pancakes in her mouth and talking and asking about his life. I think this is when he says the whole thing about what he does for a job. I think this
Mhm.
is when she
Yeah,
learns.
this is kind of how, this is when he explains it.
Yeah.
And that's when she says like you're stealing cars and selling them for parts, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah. And he has some business meeting. I think Jason Alexander calls him, says something about like, listen, there's a business meeting later.
There's a
don't
whole
go
side
alone or
plot of
something.
like business in his
Yeah.
business. It's kind of not that important, kind of
No.
important for his development. We'll get
No.
kind of to it.
No.
But he
He just needs somebody.
but he does tell her like, go take a bath, like just, make yourself at home. And Jason Alexander phones him and is just like, you got to bring a date to this thing. And I don't know if he's talking about the dinner or the other thing, which we'll get to, the not croquet,
oh yeah,
the polo
yes,
match. I don't know if that's
thing.
what he's talking about or this like dinner
No, I
date
think
that
it's
he's
the
going
dinner
to go.
because he
Yeah.
says that the guy's son is going to be there. So like keep it
and
casual.
he's a hothead, yeah.
like because Jason Alexander doesn't even want him to go to this dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's
It's with
like,
these, yeah.
bring a date. Oh, because he's like, I can introduce you to somebody. Like I have a girl that you can go with. And Richard Gere's like,
Right.
no, bro.
Yeah, he walks into the bath, sees his future daughter in the tub, and it's just like, he's like, you know what? I got it.
Yeah, and she's singing Prince.
Yeah,
she's singing Prince in the bath, and she looks so cute. Oh, fun little tidbit. That bath they filled with detergent and to make it really, really bubbly.
Ooh.
And it was so detergenty that it actually like washed out most of her red hair dye. So she had to re-dye her hair after that scene.
That's actually amazing.
Yeah. Sometimes those little film tricks are not worth it. You just don't do it.
At all. No,
just don't
another
do
wig
it.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's in the bath. She's like, kiss. There's a few scenes I will always remember, and that was one of them.
And he's
that's
all like,
that's actually what she does.
Yeah, she's singing. That? She has like a little disc man, and she's singing, and she's like,
classic yellow disc man.
All I want is your extra time and your kiss. Cute. And then he notices he's there.
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, because he's watching her like a fucking voyeur zaddy.
Voyeur zaddy.
I hate this so much.
Vazaddy.
Vazaddy.
We're making it impossible for Lincoln to actually like this movie. Like,
yeah, I hate
this. This is the big moment. This is the origin of why the first title of the film, as Amanda told us. But he's like, I'm here for business all week. I would like you to accompany me. I like to pay for you for the whole week. Like, how much is that going to be? And she's all like, Zaddy, you can't afford me.
Yeah,
like,
Zaddy, you can't do it.
He's like,
good job,
me.
Julia. Can't afford me. Bye.
Yeah.
And so Julia throws out the big number, which is $3,000 for the week.
She actually said 4.
Oh, no. Sorry. She says 4.
He says 2.
He says 2.
Ew.
And she says 3.
3. And he goes, done.
And she goes, holy shit. And then she goes into the bath, which I always love to celebrate. Because I was like, girl, if someone was like, I'll pay you $3,000, I would fucking freak out. I'd be like, I'm making $3,000 this week.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not a bad week.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. Days and nights.
Nights.
True.
And this is like the cute, you know how I said, like, sometimes the writers went home and were like, honey, I fucking rocked it today at the office. There's another line where, again, this is paraphrasing, but it's something like, he's leaving for work because he says, like, go shopping. Here's money. Go get conservative clothes. He slut shames her, which happens all the time. But then as he's going, she says, I would have stayed for $2,000. And he's like, I would have paid $4,000.
Ooh, it's a great moment.
That was a great moment. Yeah. But then they fucking ruin it because then she says something like, I'm going to treat you so well, you're never going to want me to go. And he's like, $3,000, 1 week, and I will let you go. And I'm like,
and then he's like, oh, now you're Bazaddy.
Again, yeah.
But he also gives her money, extra money, I think, right? This isn't part of 3,000.
No,
extra
this is
money
extra.
To buy clothes, like a nice dress for the dinner, like buy clothes for the week, clothes that are like, clothes that
shames her. He's like, you look like a slut, and I don't want the world to know that I'm with a sex worker because I'm ashamed of my own issues. So go buy conservative clothes.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And she's excited to go shopping. Why not?
She's like, I don't care.
It's Hollywood.
Yeah. And she's like, where to go? She calls Kit and she's like, Kit, where do I go? And she's like, Rodeo Drive. And then they go to Rodeo Drive.
Yeah.
Boop, 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 boop. Like a fancy fucking drive. And this is the scene that they play in Romy and Michelle's high school reunion that I love.
Oh.
It's so good. Yeah. This is like
what is
the
this
famous
drive
scene.
like? Like,
this
is
a
this
big
like...
It's like if you were to go and it's like, I mean, I really don't know. But actually, no. Okay, I was there early last year. Did I go to Rodeo Drive? Why would I? I think it's like Chanel, Gucci, another one.
It's like Soho in New York. Kind of.
It's like the fancy. It's like
fancier,
in Toronto.
probably.
I was going to say Bayville or whatever. No, was it?
Or Yorkville?
Yorkville. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
It's like the really fancy places.
Mm-hmm.
So fancy, we don't know about them.
The security guards outside the clothing store places.
Yeah. And she goes in and she's in her like famous outfit, like that blue skirt, white top again. Because like she didn't bring a change of clothes. Why would she,
Yeah.
So she's going shopping and she goes inside and the saleswoman obviously like judges her.
Right.
And it's like, you are obviously in the wrong place. Like, you're a whore, get out, basically. Right. Which is like so rude. She doesn't say that, but she's,
But she's got the tone that says that.
She is the slut-shaming tone, which it's like, come on.
Not even the one. It's like everyone there. Like, I think there's two people there. They're like, we don't have clothes for you.
Yeah, they had like an ugly little back
do you
and
not
forth
want to
of like,
fucking
how much is this? Oh, it's very expensive.
Money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hello,
Right?
she's gonna buy it. Like, fuck off.
Well, that comes back into play, and it's perfect. The line. It's also another famous line later.
It's another one. So she gets kicked out.
Yeah.
She gets asked to leave, and then it's very, very like almost too dramatically sad music plays as she walks down the street.
Like Charlie Brown, yeah.
Like Charlie fucking Brown. And it's like,
Yeah.
and it just, the snow starts. And this is where also she's not walking freely anymore. She's like covering herself up with her jacket.
Mhm.
And she goes back to the fancy hotel. And this is where we get introduced
to
this
the hotel. She doesn't buy anything.
Well, because she
doesn't try again.
Because I think she just feels like very small. You
Yeah.
know?
Okay.
Well, she was judged and she was discriminated against.
Sure.
And she just thinks all of Rodeo Drive's going to be the same. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't belong here, and I don't feel bad about myself, but they're making me feel bad. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and also again, they've made this character very childlike. You
Right.
know, so like she's sad
Easily
and
discouraged.
she's fragile, and I mean, I don't judge her. They were bitches to her.
Yeah.
So she goes back to the fancy hotel. This is where we are introduced to the concierge, whose name is
Barney.
Nice.
Like
And
Barney's.
he is a
Barney's-
sweetheart. He is also like a conservative guy who is like judgmental, obviously, but like really, really helps her out, which is great.
Yeah, he's like a slut shaming fairy godmother. Like he has
Cute.
he has a
Without-
balance of the two.
Without the expectation of sex like Zaddy does.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
He has no zaddy expectation. He's
Yeah.
just a
Nice.
little bit like, hey, what are you doing here? You look like a slut. We need to have a little chat. And
You
pulls
look
her in
like
and
a
is like,
slut.
I'm assuming that you are Edward's relative. You are his niece. Okay, wonderful. And basically says like, so you basically asks her like, you're not going to have sex with anybody else in this hotel, right? And she's like, no. And he's like, as soon as your uncle leaves, you will also be leaving and never come back, right? And she's like, yes. And then she shares, but then he has a redeeming moment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he basically, he phones up a store owner that he knows, a fancy store owner. He's like, I need someone. I need your help. I need someone. I'm going to send you someone. I want you to get her the best get her best dress.
Yeah.
Aw.
And it's
She-
really sweet. Bridget.
She blows
I'll
her
never
nose in
forget
his
Bridget.
handkerchief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very sweet. So
Yeah.
so then she goes to this store. Julia goes to the store, and the helper, Bridget. I don't know why I
Yeah.
always remember that name. 'Cause it's just so sweet.
Bridget.
And she does
Bridget.
it. And I'll remember it too, because there's a moment where Julia goes, because she calls her Bridge right away, like a little nickname.
Yeah.
And she's like, Bridge, he's not really my uncle. And then Bridget goes, they never are, dear. Like she
Yeah.
knows. And she doesn't care. Bridget's like, live your life, I'll find you some clothes.
Yeah.
So this hotel manager is like, he I think he says, this doesn't happen in this hotel, but then he phones her and she's like, they never are. So it's like, yes, this is
Right.
happening all the time in this hotel, and
Right.
I'm hiding it as the hotel manager.
Will,
Right.
All
that's
the
a
time.
fantastic point. I didn't even
Yeah.
pick that up.
What a gross
It's so
thing.
true, and it's also
it
like-
happens so often. He's got a person to phone.
Yeah, what
He's
the
got
fuck?
a Bridget.
Ew,
Like honestly, he's got a
right.
Bridget on call. It's
Yeah.
also like, can we all just stop shaming all this bullshit? Like, you're an adult and they're an
Yeah.
adult. If you want to interact with sex workers, do it. Great. Like,
Yeah.
chill. Stop shaming everybody. That is such a good point, Will.
It's true.
That's right. It's happening a lot. You're
So-
welcome. Okay.
She gets like a nice cock. She's like, you need a cocktail dress.
Oh yes,
Cock.
yes, yes.
I didn't
yes.
say nice cock. I said nice
She
cocktail
just
dress.
gets a real nice cock.
I mean, I'm assuming
She
Richard
has a-
Gere has a nice cock.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I don't know.
She has a very nice cocktail dress.
all the rich ones do, right?
All
You
the
know.
rich ones.
Probably
They pay
not.
for it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, they have
I
to
mean,
pay
yeah,
later
sure.
once they're rich.
Yeah.
Then.
plastic surgery.
Yeah.
So she gets a dress and they go
Yeah.
to dinner, Richard
Yeah.
Gere and Julia Roberts. And it's a very, before they go to dinner, Julia Roberts is like, wait, I need your help. And she comes back down in her, her slut clothes. And, Barney is like, did you not buy a dress? Like, why are you still wearing
Oh
your clothes?
yeah.
And she's like, I need your help. And it's a very cute scene. She's in like the dining room. It's empty of the hotel. And he's teaching her all the different like utensils,
Aw.
outside in, which fork to use, which spoon to use.
As if
He's
she
like, this
knew
will
that
make
that
it
was
easier,
going to
and
be a
starts
thing.
talking about the tines of a fork. And I remember thinking, what the fuck
What?
is a tine? Like, it's one of the points. He's
Yeah.
like,
I thought it was
4
prongs.
times is dinner tine, and sometimes it's 3 tine. And I'm like, what are you? It's a
Ew.
fucking rhyme going. It's a rap. Barney's
Yeah.
rapping about dinner etiquette, and it's so confusing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How
so
old is
confusing.
Barney?
Barney's
He's probably
like,
in his 50s.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
He's kind of like the Michael Caine of a
Right,
situation.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man,
Like-
Michael Caine would be the hotel manager in the
Would
remake
be
Oh,
with Lady
100%.
Gaga. Oh my
100%.
God.
Like Miss Congeniality, Michael
like,
Caine
son-
would be.
It's just
Oh.
your uncle.
This
It's your uncle.
and I'm going to assume that this is your uncle. I can't do it.
Uncle.
There's no way.
Bridget,
Yeah.
I'm going to send you someone.
Bridge,
That's
I
too
love you,
good.
but I cannot because you're just a saleswoman, and there are rules. So so then Richard goes to pick her up at the lounge. She's like, you're late or something. I don't know. He says she's beautiful, and then they go to dinner. They're very fancy
It is
dinner.
very much. It is like the she's all that thing where it's like, suddenly she's in a nice dress and her long red hair is loose and she's now beautiful.
And it's like,
Right.
now she deserves respect. I'm
Yes.
confused why her hairstyle changed how much her worth was. You fucking asshole.
Right.
But it did, because now she's in a cocktail dress. And he's like, wow.
What a
Julia
dignified
Roberts-
lady.
Exactly.
Wow.
Julia Roberts tries to be a lady. She's all like,
Yeah.
she corrects herself when she starts to say, colloquialisms or
Oh,
things.
yeah. Going to the bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, totally. And this is like a fancy dinner. And it's with this guy that Mr. Morse and his son, who this is like the company. They own the company that Richard wants to buy and sell.
Yeah,
for
piece
parts.
by
So
piece.
it's like a business meeting, and he brought her
Mr.
along.
Morse, old Mr. Morse does not want to sell. He built this business from the ground up.
Yeah.
He builds
Right.
ships and he has a Navy contract.
Oh,
so also we're
yeah.
talking about the,
Mm.
American war profiteering,
Damn.
complex, all that,
Right.
Yeah.
all that fun
totally.
stuff as well.
Totally. And
And
they
how that
seem-
is actually really nice by the end. We're supposed to cheer on their Navy contracts to build war ships.
Yeah.
They think we're all like, they think we are all little tiny Julia Roberts, where they were like, we can
Right.
manipulate their brains and make them feel bad for the people, the fucking villains. No problem. No, I want to feel bad for Kit. Where is Kit in all of this?
Right.
This poor fucking friend.
She really missed out.
Oh,
This could have been
God.
her.
Exactly.
Right?
They do go back to that.
She does acknowledge that. She's a
Yeah.
pretty good friend about it. Like, she's not too
Yeah.
bitter, which is really nice. Yeah, she's very
Yeah.
sweet. So they're at dinner, and it's not going great. Like it keeps going over to Julia. Like, she is eating things she shouldn't. She tries to break open an escargot and it flies across the room. Like, it's getting confusing, right? And there's one moment, she asks, like, where's the salad? And then Richard's like, the salad comes at the end. And she's like, that's the fork that I know. And she's panicking. But
Mhm.
the dude, the older guy, the Morse guy, so fucking lovely. Basically
he's
turns
very
and
nice.
says something about, like, I don't know.
I
the
can
forks
never remember
either.
them either.
Yeah, exactly. And then he just picks up the food and eats it with his fingers. Like, such a nice
Cute.
gesture.
Yeah.
It's so sweet.
Yeah.
So that all happens. It's a fish out of water scene.
Mhm.
She's like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing
Dinner
here.
doesn't go too well because both
No.
like, the Morses are like, you're not buying our business. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And
Right.
then he's
Like,
like,
fuck
oh,
you.
no,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's kind of it. And then they go back to the hotel. And there's a moment where Richard Gere earlier in the movie says that he's afraid of heights. That's like his number one fear. And he's in the penthouse suite, and she makes a joke about that. But finally, he's sitting on the balcony of the penthouse suite.
But like just outside the door.
Yeah,
like
just-
not
Right.
even on the balcony. He's just sitting like right in front of the door.
Yeah. And he even says, he's like, no, I'm halfway
Yeah.
here. And she goes and sits right on the edge and like even leans back to like taunt him.
Yeah. And
he's like, just don't,
Zadely
please
is
don't.
like, get down from there. Like,
down.
I'm your father. Yeah. He gets pissed and it's like, hey, fuck off. She's a woman. But it is, again, they're all about these symbols. It's like, he's like 1 foot in, but hardly. And she's like, I'll just jump in,
Yeah.
Right.
And
But
he's being protective. He's like,
Oh, God.
it makes me nervous because I actually care about you if you fell, kind of thing.
Yeah,
but like,
totally.
But
And
all
I'm-
in a weird daughter way.
Absolutely. In a parentalizing way that we do so many times in rom-coms, where we are not like, hey, you are capable of taking care of yourself. I just want to support you in doing that. Instead, it's like, you can't do anything. But I
Right.
want to do it
But
for
here's
you.
my money. You can
I'm
use
gonna
things with my
shove
money.
myself at you. And she's like, I'm not going to
You
fall on a
need
fucking
me.
woman. So
But
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have this little scene where we're supposed to feel things for Richard Gere, and how he kind of is unhappy about his job, or he doesn't necessarily like what he does,
mhm.
and that his father built things, or like his father built things,
Mhm.
and the first company that he bought and sold piece by piece was his own father's, and his father died like last month or something like
and he
that.
hadn't talked to him for like 15
20
years or
years. Yeah, it's,
something.
like,
Yeah,
crazy.
like they
Yeah.
were estranged. Yeah. And she actually points out, she says at the dinner, she's like, I actually think that you like Mr. Morris, like the older dude.
Yeah.
And he said something, then he points out, like, it doesn't matter if I do, I have to keep emotions and business separate. And then she goes, oh yeah, me too. Like when I'm with a guy, I'm like a robot or something.
Mhm.
And then he says, we're so much alike. We both screw people for money. And it's this moment where like, they're clearly saying like, oh, these are the rules. I don't like you, remember? But like they do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's true. Yeah. They're like, we're connecting. Now this is, I believe this is the scene she like goes back into like the room and like is watching TV and he's like gone. He's like, I'm going to go down to the bar for a bit or whatever.
Oh yeah. Cause she says, she's like, let's just veg out and watch movies all night. And he's like, not tonight. Like there's somewhere I have to go. And so she just stays home. Again, it's very father-daughter sexual dynamic. Weird. Like,
So
it's okay,
weird.
honey, you stay home. I have to go out for a bit. And she's like, oh, but I wanna. And like, it's weird.
Another scene. So she comes down. It's like 3 a.m. Like she sees the clock and he's in the like, it's like a stage / restaurant. It's like this big kind of auditorium
like
in the hotel.
Loungy thing.
Dinner lounge.
Yeah.
And there's like basically employees of the hotel like taking their break or whatever, eating and having to smoke while he's in the middle of the room on a piano just playing, and he's like a fucking virtuoso. Well, he's good. He's a good piano player.
It's actually Richard Gere playing too.
Yeah.
It's like him playing, and he wrote that song. I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, but in the movie, douche. Playing the song. Playing the piano.
Yeah, musical zaddy. But he's he like he's playing the song and she like approaches him, and then again, another indication of how much power this guy has. Also, like, he just says, gentlemen, can we have the room? This giant auditorium. Yeah. The staff leaves.
Come on.
And they fuck on the piano.
And some of them are fucking guests because I remember being like, are these all workers there?
Not all of them
and
aren't like kitchen staff.
Sitting there having a drink at the fucking table, and they all just leave. And she does point it out. She says
those guys are probably like, oh, the staff. Should I listen to who is this? I guess I should go.
Who is this guy
I paid
playing
for
the
this,
piano?
but I'll leave it.
But it's fine.
I guess I'll leave my Negroni
So wait,
that I
she
paid
just
for.
comes down. He sees her and he says, "Can we have the room?" And then they just immediately start doing it.
Yeah, she's in like a robe and he's playing sad piano music, and she comes in and comes over and sits down on the piano, I think. He pulls her over and he's sad. And then he says, like, may we have the room? And they all get up and leave. And then she basically points it out, like, does everybody fucking do what you want all the time? Like, what?
Yeah.
Right.
You power hungry bastard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This guy commands a lot. Like, if I was a hotel manager and this guy was like, hey, at some point, I may need the entire auditorium.
Yeah.
To have sex in.
Yeah. With
Mr.
no
Barney.
heads up.
What the fuck? I just had the craziest deja vu. What the fuck? Will, have you said that before?
No.
I swear to God, that line was like spot on with my memory. So weird.
Deja
I hate
zaddy.
that.
Wow.
Now you know when you're editing this, you have to find the episode that happened in and put it back in. So this episode won't come out for a while. It's going to take a while to find that. Oh my God. I love that deja vu. Okay. Tell us if you think of it.
Yeah, if you remember exactly what happened.
I will.
Yeah. It's like an alternate universe
I'm very
or something.
intuitive with my ulterior timelines.
Yeah.
So
they have sex on there, right?
Cute.
And he tries to kiss her on the piano twice.
Yeah, he really does.
And she's like, nya.
Yeah, and she pulls away.
Yeah, she pulls away.
Yeah, I wasn't pissed at the first one. I was a little bit, but whatever. But the second one, I was like, the zaddy. No means no, even if it's not verbal, boo.
Exactly.
And then they have sex on the piano. Yeah. I believe. They don't show it, but like that's what
he looks like, but I mean, it's unrealistic if he's the one. It looks like he's starting to, go down on her, but I'm not sure if that actually happens because, he's zaddy. He's not doing that.
He's not really a giver.
He's not paying.
Right.
No,
yeah.
He's giving financially. He's not giving in any other way yet.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
So then, so that's like day 1 of day 6, right? So now we're like, day 2. They wake up in the penthouse. And she is a sad little girl again. And he's like, time for more shopping. And she's like, they were mean to me. And she's sad because she only got that one dress.
Right. And he's all fatherly, like, what?
Yeah.
He's like,
he is
we
fatherly.
Will spend so much money.
Yeah.
What?
Totally. And so they go back to Rodeo. He stomps over with her to Rodeo Drive, and they go back.
Come on.
And he's very fatherly. Like he's like, he throughout the movie, he keeps telling her to stop fidgeting, which fucking bothers me. And then he's like, spit out your gum. And she spits it out.
Ew.
God, I can't believe you did that. Whatever. Like, just straight up, like, dad.
Ew.
It's funny. I honestly didn't really notice the whole father-daughter type thing until you've kind of mentioned it. And now I'm like, oh, yes, that is all true.
And there
I
is
need
a
to
way,
watch this.
I think.
Ugh.
Yeah, totally you do. And you'll see it. Like, I think there's a way to be controlling, overbearing, and there's still going to be an imbalance of power, but it's not as child condescending.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can also do it this way where it is a little bit child condescending. But honestly, here's the thing. This in 1990 or whenever the fuck I watched this movie in the early 2000s or like whatever, this was just the way that we presented taking care of your partner. Like,
yuck.
This was like, look, he's safe and he knows what to do and he can take care of you. That's what this whole fucking thing was wrapped up and packaged as.
That is basically what it is. Yeah.
So we don't see it, but really it's like, yeah, I mean, he's constantly telling her what to do and pointing out things that she's doing that are stupid and wrong and little, making her feel little and somehow making her feel anyway. So they go into a store and Richard's like, we are going to spend a fuck ton of money in here. We want all the people. And I will never forget. There's only a few lines from this movie that I always remember, but I always remember. And there's like a famous actor who works there who's saying this, but he's like, he works there as a salesman. And he's like, okay, Mary Pat, Mary Kate, Mary Frances, we're going to need help. And it's like all the sales ladies' names are Mary something. And they all run over, which I always loved.
Yeah, that was a good. I'm trying to find. Yeah, I remember like clocking who that salesperson was because he actually is a pretty like famous bit player. He's always in things, but I
can't think of anything he's been in. Like I can't place him.
Yeah. Ooh.
I know, but he is like
he probably loves having that as his.
I do know who that original detective you mentioned was. It was Hank Azaria, from The Simpsons and from all the movies.
Of course, yes. And I always think of him from that movie with Catherine Zeta-Jones and with Julia Roberts. And I know that only Will be helping me on this movie now.
I'm like, what?
He's like, nope.
Fuck.
I think
I don't.
Hollywood Sweethearts.
Oh, I don't know if I've heard of that one.
Okay. I mean, it's another rom-com that probably would fall exactly into this. So.
Yeah. So that's why I remembered the salesman was Larry Miller, who plays the dad in 10 Things I Hate About You, but also plays the dad in a lot of things.
Oh my God. He was in 10 Things the dad in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah. He's the salesman in this scene. Yeah.
He does have a lot of bit parts. Like he's one of those. Yeah. And this moment when like Mary Pat, Mary Kate, Mary Frances come over is the moment when Pretty Woman, the song starps playing. And it's like, and it's actually what the movie was named after is this song.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was, because I was like, was this made for the movie? And then no, it was made in the 70s. But yeah. But she gets all her clothes. She has a little shopping bag. She goes back to the store that denied her. Yeah. And I only really remember this scene now because of The Office, of that one episode of The Office.
With Dwight, when he has to go buy the statue, but he was covered in pig blood, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that episode. Damn it.
And Kelly is all like, you got a pretty woman them. And then they make him up to be like really fancy to go back and buy the thing.
Yes. Other than the little necklace moment that Alenka, you mentioned that's been in Family Guy, I would say that this is also the other like infamous scene because so many places or so many other like movies or TV shows or something have like spoofed it. Yeah. This is also like an infamous moment.
Mm-hmm. So she goes back and then she like walks up to the salespeople and like, hey, you remember me from the other day?
Yeah.
And then Amanda, I think you can get this line, right? You know the line.
100%.
Yeah,
you're such a giving scene partner. So she walks in and she's in her new clothes and like picture 1,000 bags in each of her hands. And she's like, you work on commission, right? And then the lady goes, yes. And she goes, big mistake. Huge. And then she walks out. I have shopping to do. And she walks out and the two fucking saleswomen from before just stare ahead like, oh shit. And also I'm like, how often is the same saleswoman there? But I mean, I guess it happens.
Right.
It happened for her. They were there the next day. And it's a big revenge moment. Like, you fucking slut shamed me, you bitch. Well, don't judge a book by its cover. I got money and I'm going to spend it. And she walks out. She's like, fuck you. You're not getting my commission.
There you go.
Yeah. Just like the link you foreshadowed when you're like, wouldn't they want to make money?
Yeah. Wouldn't they? Like, fuck. No, they don't like money.
Yeah.
They're like a server going into their job being like, hey, what do you want to drink? That's fucking stupid. No.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make any tips.
Get out. 100%.
Idiots.
Agreed. 100 agree. Yeah. So they got what they deserved there. And
So
she goes.
Yeah, so I think the next, like, quite a few scenes, there's a bit, it's a bit of montagey of like, she's really living the life, like she's having a good time.
Yeah.
And, she's, she actually now looks like a genuine guest at the hotel. With, and what's his name? Barney is looking at her like, he's looking like a proud father now, but like not in a sexual way.
Yeah. Like a fairy
like
godfather happy way.
Yeah. Fairy godfather. And
and Richard's acting weird too. Jason's saying you're acting weird. Like, what's up with you right now? Like, you're acting weird. And they're getting closer too. They're like connecting. Like Richard and Julia are now like in the bath talking about their families, and we get a lot of close-ups of Richard Gere's hairy nipples, like a lot of them. And I have no shame for a hairy nipple. I have no shame. I love hair on the chest.
My
it's
partner
just a
Sam,
lot
when
of
we were watching
close-ups.
it, was just like, that is a hairy nipple.
And it's just like a very specific choice. And it's how they start the scene, and then they go to them, then they come back. And my guess is that when they were filming it, they forgot to film. Oh, 100%. I think they forgot to film B-roll to cut to, and they only had close-ups of his nipples to cut to. That's all they keep cutting to. It's so strange.
I don't think I noticed it because, spoiler alert, I'm a very hairy person. So I can't tell when only one hair is on a nipple, regardless of...
Well, and like, again, there's no issue that his nipples are hairy. It's a very specific choice to keep cutting to it.
Right. That's so weird.
I was like, why do we keep seeing it? Yeah, so...
Look at our hairy zaddy. Okay.
Look at the hairy zaddy. So they're having a bath, but they're like really opening up. Like they're both talking about their families a lot, and they seem to be falling for each other. So yeah, you're right. It's sort of like little clips of like, look at what's happening on this day. They're all happy.
Jason Alexander's worried because Richard Gere's starting to talk like he doesn't want to do this job, or he doesn't want to buy this company from the Morses. Like he's getting a little bit like, maybe we should build things instead of take things down.
He does mention that. Yes, he's like, we don't. Yeah, maybe we should build things. Like what? Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but so there's a big. The next kind of real big scene, I would say. I think a real big scene is he has like a surprise for her, like get a nice dress on, have a surprise, and he takes her in a limo, and she's in a limo probably for the first time in her life, and she's having a grand old time, and they pull right up to the runway of a private jet that he's chartered.
Get out of here.
This is the moment where I'm like, she's got to be kicking herself, because chartering your own private jet has to be like $250,000.
Yeah. But there is a moment, okay, and I'm not going to get lost in minutia, I promise. But there is a moment before this, because I think it's important to then he ups the ante and like rents the jet. They go to the polo race, and he ends up
this happens before. I thought this happened after. Never mind.
So he goes, well, and listen, manipulative relationships, they always have to up how nice they're being, dependent on how mean they're being. So he has to be really mean to then do this whole flight thing. Thing. My accent changes when I drink wine, apparently. So they go to like a charity polo thing, and Jason is like drilling Richard, saying like, where is this girl from? Because she's talking to like David Morse, and he thinks she's a spy. So he ends up telling her, or Richard ends up telling Jason, like, she's not a spy. He says she's a hooker. Like, she's a hooker. I hired her. Chill out.
And then Jason does his George Costanza laugh, like,
it's fucking. And
then he's like, no, I'm serious.
Hated him from this role. This movie made me hate Jason Alexander until today, and I can't shake it. It's awful. It's not fair.
I know. I love him as George, and I love his Twitter, but like, come on.
I love his Twitter. And it's awful because an actor is not their character, but I just cannot shake this character from him. So he basically comes up and hits on her at the horse race polo thing. Clearly, I don't go to polo games, whatever these are called. And he basically...
also the polo game is another thing that's so fucking weird. I was like, wait, this happens in polo?
And they're like squishing down the little turd things.
Yeah, the great like divot halftime where every guest at the polo match has to walk on and like... smash down the divots in the grass.
I only knew that because of how many different franchises of Real Housewives I watched, and they do that. So I'm like, this is a thing. They do this.
No way.
So at the polo match, Jason ends up going over to Julia and saying, when your week is up with Richard, I'll hire you. Mind you, like she just met his wife and they're hanging out. And that's fine if you want to do that. But I'm saying it is not consensual from his wife and it's not an open marriage.
No.
So not okay. And she feels disgusting. Like she feels shitty about herself. So when they go back to the penthouse, Richard and Julia have a huge fight. She's like, why the fuck would you dress me up if you're just going to tell everybody I'm a hooker? Then let me wear my own clothes. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I've never felt so shitty in my life. And she's like, I've never been made to feel so cheap. And he's like, oh, I doubt that. Like, they have a shitty fight. It's not great. And she goes to leave. She goes to the elevator and it opens and that little bellhop that we love is there.
Right.
And he's like, are you going down? Like, he doesn't know what to do. He's like, mom and dad are fighting. I'm attracted to both of them. I don't know what to do. He's very stressed.
Actually, that is a great backstory for him because he looks at both of them with that face. Like,
totally. He looks at both of them.
Can I get in on this?
Heedlessly. Like, tell me what to eat and also want to have sex with me. Like, he's not sure what to do. He needs guidance and also penetration from both of them.
And tips.
100%. And then he genuinely says, I'm sorry. And he basically says to her, like, I saw you talking to David Morse, like the dude's son, and I didn't like it. And she's like, we were just talking. And my heart goes out to every moment when you had a boyfriend and they were like, I got jealous. And you're like, literally, they were asking me for directions because they lost their dog, you fucking soulless asshole.
Exactly.
And he's like, I didn't like it. And it's
although
just
when he said I didn't like it, in my mind it was like, are they going a little Christian Grey over here? Or like, is he
I got so many vibes of that.
I didn't like it.
I don't get that.
You're not allowed.
Okay, like 50 Shades of Grey.
But I don't know the context.
Okay, so
BDSM, like he's the dom.
Yeah, he's the dom.
Still don't fully understand.
Like inconsensually
Catholic.
the dominant. Okay, fair. He is the priest, but nobody asked to go to church.
This is like the first guest to ever be just like, cool, Catholic, get it.
Catholic, I understand. Here's what it is. It is like it's like this dude is acting like you came for confessional, but you didn't even want to go to church. Like he's just like, no, get in here. I have all the power over you. And what I say goes.
So confusing.
Just like, it's just toxic. This is the moment where I'm like, fuck these toxic love stories disguised as romance. I'm done drinking the fucking Kool-Aid. Get out. Anyway, but she decides to stay and I don't judge her for it. She decides to stay. They have sex. They're naked in the bed. They have a little heart to heart. And now it's day 4.
Yes. Yeah. And this is when she takes...
flying.
He takes her on a private jet.
Okay.
Probably costs a lot of fucking money. Way more than 3,000.
Way more.
They fly. I mean, they don't fly very far. They fly to San Fran. So like an hour or two.
Environmental concerns? I guess not.
Exactly.
We don't care about that. And they watch an opera that is about a prostitute falling in love with a wealthy man.
Too convenient.
I didn't know that.
That is what it's about.
Didn't catch that. I didn't
know.
Wait,
really?
I am not big on the operas. So
I am not either. I'm big on the IMDb and anxious researching to be a guest on a podcast. So not at all. It's called La Traviata, and it's about a prostitute who falls in love with a rich guy.
Oh,
cute.
I feel like I've seen that though. Okay.
Have you seen La Traviata?
Yeah, I feel like in a drama class, a theater class. I say drama class, theater class in university. I had to watch an opera.
It could have been that
little
one.
did you know that day? It's like I would be talking about this in a podcast.
Wow.
Like little did you know.
They were prepping you for this moment.
Yeah. Years later, I knew. Yeah.
You knew.
This is the moment. That's what they wanted me to take from it.
Yeah.
Totally. They're like, listen, you're going to need to know this one day. It's pop culturally
because
relevant.
You're going to talk about pretty women.
While you drink champagne, vodka, strawberry. You're going to drink all the alcohols.
Yeah.
And you're going to talk about this play or this opera.
Yeah.
And Julia Roberts is like bawling. Like it's really not bawling. She's tearing. It's really touching her.
Upsetty spaghetti.
Yes. And before this, I'm so sorry, Alenka, it's your moment where before they go to the opera, it's that closing on the necklace. You're right.
Yes.
Yeah. They do a little closing.
Oh, yeah, because he's like, I have this on loan from the jewelry shop. So be careful with it. $250,000.
This is where he puts it on and he says, when you're not fidgeting, you look very beautiful. I'm like, go fuck yourself with your backhanded compliments. Like,
this makes me so
That's
mad.
His negging. Yeah.
Maybe she's fidgeting because you make her uncomfortable, you asshole.
Maybe she's fucking fidgeting because she has ADHD. Like, fuck 100%. Off. How about fuck off?
Maybe she's on a glucose high. Like, chill out.
Who knows?
Very controlling.
She's been eating so many damn strawberries. Come on.
Yeah, she has so much glucose running through her system. She's probably
She's not used to
fucking-
having every dessert for breakfast imaginable.
Yeah. And she's on adrenaline from you fucking anyway. So fighting.
Attacking her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they go to this opera and then they fly right back because environmentalism.
Yeah.
And now they're back
Right.
in the penthouse and they're
And
playing chess.
she's like, I had a good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're playing
was
chess.
fun.
Yeah, having a
I don't
good
know why
time.
I noticed this, but he's got like I don't know if it's a glass of champagne or like a drink, like a whiskey drink or something, but she's drinking a Diet Coke. I noticed
Okay.
that. That's on the
Okay.
And
table.
up until now,
That's on the
he's never
table.
drank.
Really?
And I didn't
Oh,
notice
yeah, he
that.
doesn't.
Up until now, she drinks and he watches her drink. Very Christian
Ew,
Grey.
I hate this so
I know.
much.
Listen, voyeurism is fine as long as it's consensual and both are into it, but this is not. This feels weird. This feels controlling.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not fun. Yeah, he always watches her. Like, it's
Just
very
because
freaky.
you pay doesn't mean you get to do anything you want.
Exactly. If you want to do that, write up a contract, and even then,
Yes.
I
And
think rip
even
that shit
then.
up. 100%. So
Get Jason
I didn't
Alexander,
catch
your lawyer,
that.
to notate it. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't catch, Will, that he was drinking and she was not in this moment. Fucking role reversal.
Yeah.
Also, I love that they're playing chess. How metaphorical. Honestly,
Yeah.
whoever was setting up all of these like metaphors and symbols and shit was for sure getting off on it. Like they
Yeah.
loved
Right.
it.
I know. They loved it and the metaphors, but also just the fact that like, oh, he likes opera and playing piano. He's actually artistic. He's not
Yeah.
just a wealthy
Right.
businessman. And she can play chess and knows cars. She's not just a ditzy girl.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
They're
then
the
they
kind of
learn from each
actor-
other.
Like if
Yeah,
they were an
Prince.
actor, they're the kind that goes in for like a Cheerios commercial, but and they have no lines, but they have a whole backstory of this whole character. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, but she wouldn't have two spoonfuls of Cheerios because when she was in university, like they have a whole thing. Yeah, 100%. Ooh, good catching. Okay, so
Yeah.
then they're playing chess.
I don't. I think this happens before. I just want to mention there is during montagey bits. There's a part where like she takes him for lunch out in the park and makes him takes his shoes off and reads to her.
Not yet.
So that
That's
he's
not yet.
that's not
the
yet.
next
Oh my
day.
god! Oh, that's the
That's
next
the
day. I
next
keep
day.
skipping.
Because that's okay. You're so excited. Imagine you're like, I don't give a shit. I love it. And the only reason I know that is because at the chess, that is where, because I was like, okay, this is like vomitously symbolic. At the chess game is when she convinces him to take the next day off of work. And he's like, well, I guess I can. I own the company. And we're like, oh, sick leave. Give people sick
Fuck
leave.
this
This
guy.
is why. This is so
Yeah.
screwed up. So he decides to take, I'm such a buzzkill sometimes. Okay. So
I feel like most of our episodes get to this point, some capacity.
well, because there's a lot of problematic
A lot of the movies are
that live
dated.
in your
Yeah.
heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Your fave is problematic.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's the next day. It's day 5. This is the montage where they do like normal people things, like get a hot dog, eat under a tree, read Shakespeare, eat at a mom and pop place, take their shoes off. Yeah, this is the moment where they're doing this shit in the park.
Got you. They're like
Yeah.
having real dates.
It's just like, what are the things that the commoner, like peasants do? Oh, they're in the park.
If this were a worse movie, it'd probably be like, what I want, you got it, might be hard to handle.
Totally. 100%.
That would be the
Yeah.
montage song.
And they'd be like feeding pigeons and like laughing. And then you would pan over to a homeless man who like really is struggling, but who cares because we're having
Yeah.
a day off.
And then we have different
Right.
cuts of him closing other things on her hand and her going,
Stop
pizza
it.
Yes,
box.
and it's just her fingers are like
Are
all
they?
in
Do they
bandages
do
by the
that?
end of the
No,
day.
they-
But she's like,
they don't do that.
I thought
so
when you said
funny.
pizza box, I really thought maybe.
Yeah, the pizza box, that would have been
Yeah,
great.
Yeah.
So they have a
Yeah.
whole day off together and they have fun little things and it's montagey and then I think they just end up back at the penthouse.
Yeah, that night, basically, when they come back to the penthouse, like he goes to sleep before her, which he never does. He goes to sleep and he's like lying in the bed and she crawls in and she kisses him on the lips.
Like a sleeping beauty while he's
Excuse
asleep,
me?
which this is the one moment in the movie where I go, ooh, Julia Roberts, not okay.
Yeah.
But maybe he wants it because he did try and do it at the piano. So
Yeah.
I'm okay
Right.
with it.
And he wakes up and
Yeah.
then they make out and they make love as a couple, even though
Yeah.
she's still being paid by him.
And you see her
Wow.
nipple this time, but never
Yeah.
before.
Very, through the bed frame. And I like shooting things. I make movies and stuff. and
Whatever.
little
You sure
sketches.
will. Sure.
Yeah. And so I always notice when the shot is like from the bed frame behind. And then when they cut, there's a wall right up against the bed frame. And you're like, oh, they took out a wall.
Yeah.
That
or
could
you're
never
like,
exist.
Where is that glory hole? Who's behind it? Let's have a movie about them.
Right.
Like, who's watching them?
That's the
100%.
bellboy. He's there like,
It's Derek Drew Darrell or whatever his name is. Darren. It's
Actually,
little
no,
baby
I believe
daddy.
Daryl is the limo driver.
Oh yeah, Daryl's a limo driver. Maybe it's Derek. No, you know what? I genuinely have no idea. Let's stop pretending. So they make
Please don't
love,
quiz
and
me on
Julia
that.
actually says, "I love you" before they fall asleep, but he doesn't.
Oh,
She like says that real quick.
Yeah. It's day 5, man, and she's in love, and he
And then
doesn't say
he's just like,
anything back.
oh, this is awkward.
Yeah, he's like,
goes to
"I
bed.
got you right where I want you."
no.
But no commitment. No, I don't know. I don't know what he's
no.
thinking. Now I'm projecting onto him. I shouldn't make him worse than he is. He's already fine.
Right.
So now it's day. So this is the thing. She says, "I love you." And then the next day is the last day of their agreement.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So now what happens on the last day?
Well, the last day, he's like, basically he tells her like, I want this relationship to continue.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I'll put you up in a great condo in New York. I want you to come with me.
He already has it. He's
no,
already
not in New York.
organized all
Sorry,
of it.
no. I'll put you up in a great condo here. And I want to see you every time I'm here. And she basically is like disgusted by that because she's just like, so that you can just like, I'm like your little hooker that you see only when you're in town.
Right.
Like I want to be your girlfriend.
He basically, she does make the metaphor like, I want to be the princess. I want you to save me. Like, I want to be the princess that gets saved. I don't want to be like, basically I don't want to be a sex worker anymore, really.
Well, and she said, when I dreamed of being a princess and finding my prince, never in the dream did he say, and I'll put you up in a great condo. You know? Yeah. And he actually says, like, it'll get you off the streets. And then she turns and she's like, that's just geography. And I was like, motherfucking snaps for Julia Roberts. Like, so good. Yeah. Anyway, so she gives that whole speech about the knight and the princess. Mm-hmm. And what interrupts them? Oh, motherfucking Jason Alexander, of course, calling.
Well, he calls. Yeah, he calls and they're like, it's the deal. We're meeting right now. We got to meet with the Morses. And so he leaves. They're like on a bad note. She like is gone. And then they go to this meeting and basically, again, it's there. They build warships for the Navy. Yeah. And he's like, I don't want to buy her. Like he tells everyone to leave the room except for old Mr. Morse. Yeah. And then he confides him. He's like, I don't want to buy your company. I want to help you. Like, I want to be a partner in your company and I want to help build it even more. Like, I'm not going to dismantle it. Oh, heart to heart with this old man. You're like, oh, so cute. Continue that war profiteering. And then
I know it. And he goes, and then Mr. Morris turns to Richard and is like, I want to say this in the least condescending way, but I'm proud of you. And it's just so like, now I have a dad. And it's like, see, you just need there to be Richard.
You're my daddy.
Yeah,
that's
I'm the ultimate zaddy, and you're my zaddy, and you can go get your girl. And meanwhile, back at the hotel, Kit shows up, and Kit is adorable. Kit is blowing air on the fucking desk and writing words in it or whatever. And her and Julia have a talk, and Kit is Julia's like, I really like him, but he's being a douchebag. And Kit's like, it works out for some people. And Julia's like, when does it work out? Who does love work out for? And this is where the drink comes in. I'm going to let Will say this.
Yeah. And Kit goes, I don't know, Cinda-F Rella.
Yeah. I was like, honestly, this scene doesn't need to be mentioned, but it does for the drink. So we have to mention it.
Right. It is a nice little scene because she's like, because she's kind of, but she said, she does say love doesn't work out, but she also says like, she's kind of related to like, who does this happen to? Like where some man has come in and is offered to buy everything for me and like take me away. Kind of thing.
And you know what's really sweet, I have to say, is like a lot of movies show and TV shows show like the female characters sort of at odds for each other. Like there's the cheater and the whatever. And Kit and Julia's relationship, although like, yeah, I get it. She stole from her and all these things. Like they care about each other. And even in this moment, Kit does say like, oh man, like I really missed that opportunity. Like when I gave him to you, whatever. But you can tell she's joking and she's really genuinely happy for her. And here I am thinking like Julia's going to go off and live this life and Kit's going to be stuck in this shitty little apartment. And I'm not saying she doesn't like being a sex worker. That's a whole other thing. Like maybe she does like that. So that's fine. But they have a shitty little apartment and she can't make rent. And she's a drug addict. So I was like, look at Kit just being the fucking awesome cheerleader friend in this moment. You know?
She gets the shit end of the deal.
Yeah. And also, it's very fucking sad, also, though, that this is being compared to a Cinderella moment. Because I get it. Julia's like, but when does this ever happen? And I'm like, honey, when does a rich man come in and say, I want to pay for everything as long as you let me control every aspect of your life? I can find you that, sweetie. I can find you that next week. But it's like packaged as like, when does a guy come and sweep you off your feet and save you? And it's like, anyway.
When does the sensitive Richard Gere who eventually finds himself happen? You know?
Right? It's because, listen, he needs to go have therapy and then he can come back and then he can be the prince. But it's fine. I'm only bitter because I believed this for so long. Okay, great. I drank the Kool-Aid.
So Zaddy dissolves the deal. He's like completely goes against what Philip wants. That's Jason. Sorry, Jason Alexander wants.
Yeah.
Jason is fucking furious. And he
mad.
Goes to the hotel because that's where he thinks Zaddy is.
Yeah.
And he gets right up there.
He beats Zaddy there. Usually, typically, because Zaddy leaves, and typically Zaddy would get there at the same time as Jason while they're driving. But Zaddy has decided that he's had a come to Jesus moment. Alenka, you totally understand what I just said. And then he walked out into the grass and he takes off his shoes and his socks like just a peasant commoner, and he walks around in the grass with his little feet for a little while and tells Daryl, his driver, that he wants to walk a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Jason Alexander shows up and he's just like, I hate Zaddy.
What is he plan on doing there?
Well, he's just like, he was going to confront him and be angry at him, but he wasn't there. And he's
this is why I've hated Jason Alexander for 20 years. This scene, I hate him.
Like Vivian's there, Julia Roberts is there. And she's already nervous around him because he's already hit on her and tried to book her for another week.
Right.
And then he's just like, and he's just upset because it's like his job, basically his whole life now is like thrown upside down because he doesn't want to do it anymore. Zaddy doesn't.
A little fucking powerful privileged man didn't get what he wanted, and so he's throwing a temper tandem.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what's happening.
She's sitting on the couch and then he sits and then tries to come on her again. And she's like, no. And then George Costanza proceeds to then try to rape Julia Roberts.
Right.
And hits her in the face.
Oh, yeah. Smacks her.
And is fully trying. Oh, it's so uncomfortable to watch.
Psychopath.
Fully trying to take advantage of her.
It really is. And it's extra uncomfortable because he's Jason Alexander and I've never seen the scene. I was like, that's not the Jason Alexander I'm used to.
Wait, did you see Seinfeld before Pretty Woman?
Oh, yeah. Like I know Jason Alexander as a lovable goofball in movies and not this character.
See, I saw Pretty Woman multiple times before I saw Seinfeld. So when I watch Seinfeld, I have always hated George Costanza because I can't get the scene out of my head.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It's so hard. Anyway, so that happens.
And he's about to do it. Like, you're right. And then Zaddy shows up, grabs him and just fucking punches him and throws him out of the hotel room.
Yeah. He's pissed.
Oh, yeah. He's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But Vivian still leaves, right? Yeah.
No, she stays. Then Richard ices her face and he's like, she's like, why do men always know the exact right spot to hit you where it just stings in your eyes? And he's like, not all men hit. And then
but she goes like, but she's like, what, is there a fucking class in high school that you go to?
Is there a class you guys fucking go to? I'm like, yes. And then she does go to leave because she has all her stuff packed up because this is like day 6, or whatever, the final day of the contract. So she's going to leave and he says he wants her to stay. He's like, please stay. And I think he says stay, or maybe something about like stay because you want to, not because I'm paying you to. Something like that. I don't know. But she basically says like, I want more than you can offer. Like, I want the fairy tale and you can't give me that. So I'm leaving.
Yeah. Right.
And he gives her his like business card or something, which I was like, why did he? Okay, sure. Whatever. Look me up when you're in New York. And she goes to leave. And I think she goes to say bye to Barney, which is very cute.
It's nice. But Barney's like, here, have Daryl take you home.
Oh, yeah.
Daryl, I guess, works for the hotel. At first, it was like,
I know.
Does Daryl work for Zaddy or does he work for a hotel? Like, he's just on call for Zaddy, but he also can drive anyone from the hotel. I don't know.
Yeah. And he must be like on call for Zaddy via the hotel, but maybe like the hotel also, maybe they know like this is Zaddy's friend. This is Zaddy's niece. So like drive Zaddy's daughter niece home.
Yeah.
Right.
But I also wonder like how, like I know like who is the equivalent to Richard Gere in this movie now? Like, how rich do you have to be that you can say, get the fuck out of the lounge and I want a fucking zaddy car.
I mean, he's not a Bezos, but
that was probably Epstein. I mean, let's be real.
Oh God,
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
He's
that was like 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Daryl takes her home. Like,
well, there's no way to end this well now. No, I'm just kidding. well. Yep. All right. So Daryl takes her home.
Zaddy hangs himself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Quote unquote. I quoted.
And it's to be continued.
In case
we'll
no one
never
can
know.
tell from the fucking tone of voice.
So Daryl. Okay. So Daryl. Yes. So and Daryl's lovely from what I can get. Daryl seems great. The driver.
He just does his job.
I would love to see a spin-off of him too. I'd see a Barney
does his
spin-off.
job
Daryl and the busboy, or Daryl and the.
I really also want a Bridget spinoff. I don't know why, but Bridget and I also want Mary Pat, Mary Kate, and Mary Frances to have a motherfucking sitcom. Like, I'm sorry, but that is.
Let's just do a cinematic universe of Pretty Women.
Yeah.
Intertwined
where
stories.
every episode is just a story about each of the characters.
Yeah.
If any of us get rich enough to like buy those rights to do that, should we just do that? Or did we just give that idea to someone else?
Totally.
It's been copyrighted here.
No, we're doing it.
Yeah,
we're doing it. Okay, I love that. I'm so glad that we are now professional partners indefinitely.
Yeah. It'll be called Zaddy's Girls. No.
Yes. I love that we weren't going to use that word because we didn't know it. And now we're going to now we're like making up Zaddy and we're like, I really hope it means what I'm thinking it means, but I really don't know. It just like a fancy way to say daddy, like a hot daddy. You know what I mean?
Because I don't know what the Zaddy stand for.
So
okay. Daryl drives her home.
Once Julie Roberts is home, and basically she's like, I'm packing up and I'm moving. She's moving to San Francisco because she loved it there, I guess. And she's like, I'm going to find a real job. Yeah. You know, it's kind of this like, I'm going to get a real job and I'm going to
no. And she also says, I'm going to finish high school. And at that point, I'm like, and no judgment. I also just in that moment, I wondered what age that the character Vivian, like I know Julia Roberts was 20.
Yeah.
But how old is Vivian? Anyway, that's fine. Who cares? You can finish high school when you're 67. I don't care. No judgment. I was just curious. So she's going to finish high school. She wants to move on to better. And she gives Kit some money as like a parting gift. She calls it like an Edward Lewis scholarship fund or something like that. And like gives her some money. Sweet little friends. Yeah.
And then Zaddy's all sad. He's leaving to go back to New York.
Zaddy's
and he's
a saddie.
Zaddy's a saddie.
Zaddy's a saddie.
And he goes downstairs and he's about to leave. And Barney's like, Daryl drove her home, so he knows where she lives.
Creepy.
And I am going to tell you to find out where she lives against her will.
How did that that felt, I didn't want to overread it, but it felt a little bit like, I did want to get points with you, Zaddy. And so I got Daryl to drive her home, and I know where you can find her. Which, like,
I know it's like you pre-planned this.
It felt a little. I'm like, Barney, my love, we thought you were a nice fairy godfather. What's happening here? But he's
a fairy godfather matchmaker. He's like, I want them to be together.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So then Daryl drives mopey little Richard in the car, and at first I think it looks like they're just going to the airport because Daryl says, "Oh, your flight's on time," and I'm also like, Daryl, don't text while you're driving. But like, I don't think they have phones out there. I'm like, how do you know that?
Does he have a direct line to the airport? I said that exact thing. I was like, does he have a car phone? He's just like, hey, when's this flight going? Like, what's his job? Is he driving or is he personal assistant?
Richard Gere.
He
owns everything.
Like, he owns everything. I'm like, how
except
does he know
for that necklace he leased.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I don't know if you noticed, but when Richard's all like mopey in the car driving, it's pouring rain outside and he looks outside and smiles. I guess seriously, like it rains in LA. Like, what are the odds? Well, what are the odds that I'll find a daughter that I'd want to fuck forever? Like, I guess this is a sign. But then as soon as he starts like pulling over, it's fucking sunshine and rainbows. Like there's no rain anymore. So it's just a quick little rain just for him. The world operates for him, you know?
Yeah. We know this.
Yeah, and Julia Roberts is like, she's like gearing up to, it's like they're both ready to go, but she's gearing up to go. And then you hear it's the Prince song, right? Yeah. Is it?
Oh, maybe it is. Oh, well, first Kit, you see that Kit is outside and I love it. She's found a new roommate and she's like, no, I'm probably going to have to charge you more than Vivian because I've decided to go to beauty school or something. She's going to go to school and I won't be there very often. And I remember watching it being like, bitch, that's not how rent works. Like, if I'm living in a 2-bedroom and I'm in one of the bedrooms, I'm paying 50%. Like, you can't charge me more because you might not be there as often. Anyway, sorry. And then he pulls over to get flowers and he like pulls up in front of her house in his limo or her apartment in his limo. And as he drives up, he like Daryl almost drives into like this huge crowd of pigeons that then fly up like ugly doves. And I think it's supposed to be like dirty garbage romantic.
Hilarious.
I don't know.
Yeah. That's
Dirty
that's the vibe I
garbage
got.
romantic.
Yeah. Dirty
Trash
garbage romantic.
romance.
Yeah.
And he rolls up in the fucking limo with the music. I'm pretty sure it's the Prince song blasting that she was listening to.
I never noticed that, Will. I'm so glad we're doing this because I'm like appreciating some moments I totally missed.
And like she's like out the window.
Yeah.
And it's like this moment of like, well, he's going to conquer his fear of heights. He's going to climb that fire escape to save the princess sort of thing. And so he like pulls down the ladder and climbs up and she's like waiting for him. And then there's this shot where she's looking down on him. He's looking up.
Yeah. And he's like, so what happened after the prince climbed up the tower and rescues her? And then she says a quite feminist little moment. She says she rescues him right back. And I was like, all right, I could fuck with this. Like, okay, sure. All right. I'll take that moment. Writer went home, cheer to this family. Yeah. And you know what? I also read that whole monologue about like her wanting to be a princess and being saved by a prince, that was written before, or they like filmed that before they had this ending of him like saving her up the fire escape. So I guess they probably just wrote I don't know. The ending felt a little weird to me.
It is weird. It kind of like fast, but
yeah, I'm like, okay, so like what's happening then? Are you still going to buy her a condo here? Are we going to have some equal rights in this relationship? Can she still finish high school? Like,
is she going to New York? Is she uprooting whatever life she did have to go to New York?
She wanted to go to San Francisco. Are we going to compromise at all here? This is my problem with a lot of rom-coms is it's like, look, happily ever after. And you're like, no. The answers to life are the moment after it said the end. Like, I would like to know all the other shit.
Right.
Yeah. But that's the end. They'd like drive off. And then it actually ends. You hear, I don't know if it's like supposed to be a homeless guy. I can't remember. It's a guy who we hear in the the beginning of the movie talking about like, it's Hollywood. It's the land of dreams. Live your dream. You'll get your dream.
Yeah.
Sure. And it ends with him saying basically the same thing again.
Get your dream.
Yeah, sort of thing. But that's how it ends. I really wish it actually ended with like a slow acoustic version of Pretty Woman. Just like do 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 Pretty Woman.
Totally. I even take like a Billie Eilish kind of version of it, you know? I'm just Pretty Woman.
Creepy. Yeah.
Pretty Woman.
I can't even do Billie. That wasn't Billie Eilish at all.
I can't do it. You have to be like
that.
like back and forth stereo wise.
Yeah. Yes, we need Finnegas in here. 100%. We'll get that in the
Straight
edit.
up, we're going to have the best remake of this movie of all time. It's going to be amazing.
It actually sounds amazing. It actually does. Like, who do we have? Michael Caine. We have we are very confused on the Richard Gere moment. Lady Gaga. And Billie Eilish and Phineas. I'm so sorry. Fuck, I might have fucked it up for us. Do the soundtrack. And then we're going to have
that's going to be a juicy fucking...
Just like when they got the call to do the James Bond theme, it'll be the same thing. Like, we got it. We got Pretty Woman 2.
Yeah. Oh, God, yes.
Everyone's going to hate us. You know?
Totally.
Nobody likes the fucking remake.
No. We're going to have to make it better. So that's it.
Pretty Woman, yeah.
That's Pretty Woman.
That is so annoying.
Yeah. Do you have any outstanding questions?
Yeah. Now I'm so excited to hear what you think.
I just think it's a bunch of fuckery, and it makes me like flash back to probably my first relationship, and it's like, yikes, boy. I just hate being young, you know, and you think you're like, oh, he's older, he's more responsible, and it's like, no.
It's very triggering for sure.
Yeah, it's very upsetting. And I'm so curious to see if I did watch it, if Amanda's voice would just echo through my head constantly.
It ruined it.
Yeah, I'm just curious if I would actually pick up on all this as like intuitively as you have, because I'm kind of a dope,
my God,
so I don't know.
Thank you. Because can I tell you, I often watch movies and people will like, I don't know, say reviews or something, and I'm like, was I watching the same movie? I just thought it was a lovely party. I didn't realize that he was murdering him verbally or whatever. Like, But I also think when I watched this the first like 10 times or whatever, I didn't see anything. I drank all the Kool-Aid, and then I hadn't watched it for years, and I went through a lot of therapy, and now watching it, I'm like, bitch, that's not cute. I don't find that romantic. I feel unsafe. Like, no, I don't want that. So but also maybe I went overboard in some of them. So I hope I didn't ruin it for you.
No. Well, I mean, I definitely feel like I hate the movie, but I also feel compelled to watch it.
I feel like you should watch this and then watch Runaway Bride, which is also Richard Gere and Julia
Something
Roberts.
about tennis shoes, right?
She does have tennis shoes on in the poster.
Okay, sick.
Yeah.
Yes. Fucking great job. Yes, she
Thank
does.
you.
And you could compare and kind of see their dynamics. And then you're watching one with maybe my yelly voice in your head and another one without. And I don't remember that movie well enough. I'd have to watch it again. So,
Well, maybe we'll have you back on with that one.
Yeah, I
Oh
think
my
I
God.
was just thinking we should.
I only come on for Julia Roberts movies.
Yeah.
I would actually love
Julia
if
Roberts
that
and
was my
Richard
thing.
Gere movies.
Yeah,
Well,
only Julia Roberts and
that's it.
Richard Gere.
We want to do a Jack Black month, so maybe we'll do a Julia Roberts month as well.
I would love that. Also, 50 First Dates. That's not Jack Black. Great. Never mind. You know what?
What?
Jack Black made me think of Drew Barrymore, made me think of that. So
All right.
off
There you go.
completely. That's not my role. I need to know things on this podcast. So take that. I'm ignoring
Honestly, everything you
Um,
said, I took as fact until you said it wasn't fact.
that. Thank you so much. That's really validating.
The trust I have.
Let's keep with the theme, Alenka. How do you rate this movie? What kind of zaddies do you give this movie? We've talked about a lot of different kind of zaddies, so give
Okay,
us the
first
zaddies.
let me tell you what I believe zaddy to be, because I think the first time I encountered the word zaddy, it was from like that Manny makeup artist. I don't know if you guys know, but he's a male makeup artist, and like I just saw in the comments everybody was calling him zaddy, and I was like, is this his?
Oh.
So to that extent, I give us a fresh new Pretty Woman makeup palette with pink champagne tones and reds and just a little bit of, I guess, gold because it's bougie. It's a very nice palette. It's made for most skin types, and it's on sale on our website. $59.99.
Just like Richard Gere, privileged.
Yeah.
It's just for most skin types.
Yeah, doing the tart thing. It's for most skin types, white skin type.
Yeah, just like the
That's it.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Well,
really
that's what I
is.
give
Yeah.
it.
That
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Some zaddy face care.
Yeah.
Some zaddy
It's a
face
makeup
care.
palette. It's not face care. God, you're such a fucking ding dong. You're such a guy. It's obviously
I am.
eyeshadow, William.
Okay. I am so sorry. I have a beard cream that I use sometimes.
Oh, that's great. I hear
Honestly,
that's very good.
I know. As a hairdresser, I can tell you that is very beneficial for the conditioning of your beard hair.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. Once
so
we
honest-
see people in person more, I will do
Yeah.
that.
Oh my God. There's so
It's
many
like,
things I
right.
will do once I see real
So
people.
many
Like
things I will
wear
do.
pants that aren't sweatpants on the bottom.
I will still refuse.
Well, still, I learned a really disturbing trivia fact about it that about this movie that totally works into the Bizzatti kind of theme here.
Oh no.
Is that so for this sex scene, and I don't even know which one they mean, maybe the piano, maybe the lovemaking, I don't know. Apparently Julia Roberts was so nervous that like a big vein was showing on her forehead. So the director got in bed with her where Richard Gere already was, and they both massaged the vein to make
Richard
it smaller.
Gere and the director?
Mhm.
What?
And then
That's-
she also broke out in hives from being so nervous for the scene.
Because she's
really-
a 20-year-old actress who pretty much just broke onto the scene with this
I
movie.
just was like, what the fuck is happening? The one thing that made me feel a little bit better is that so Richard Gere was going to decline the role. He wasn't going to take it. And at the meeting when he was going to decline it, Julia Roberts wrote on a Post-it note saying, "Please say yes," and slid it over to him. And then he said yes because she felt they had chemistry, which makes me feel a little bit like maybe she felt comfortable with him. But still, this whole massaging her vein in the bed, get her out of the bed, and you can. I don't know, just the whole thing. I was like,
hire an on-set massage therapist. Just get
right.
it.
she can massage her own head. Also, most of the time.
Also, how
I'm
do you think that's going to make her feel less stressed?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Oh, don't worry, Julia. I will also a full-grown man come into the bed with you.
Yeah. You're feeling
I am Director
uncomfortable with
Zaddy.
one guy in the bed? Let's have two. Yeah, it was so weird. But there was a lot of people who were supposed to play this role. Christopher Reeve was cast as Richard Gere's role. Like he was supposed to be the zaddy. which is just a very interesting. Meg Ryan auditioned, Drew Barrymore. It's just Al Pacino declined the role. It's just, and Burt Reynolds. It's just very, very interesting. And Alinka's like, I don't know who any of these people are.
I know some of them. So.
Okay, amazing. You nailed it. You got it.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Yeah. I don't really know who Burt Reynolds is, and I should, and I'll just say it. That's
I know it's the
improv.
mustache, right? That's what's up.
I feel like he probably would at one point.
Is it not?
I'm going to say yes.
It's definitely a mustache.
I don't know who he is.
Oh, shit.
I feel like... I don't know.
Amanda,
yes,
I want to thank you for coming onto the show. It was such a lovely time. If our listeners want to listen to you and your show and check out any other projects you have, what are those? Where can we find you?
Thanks, Will. Okay, so any of my projects I put mostly on my Instagram. I'm at Hot Cold Spicy. It's a stupid name, but it's staying there for a while. My podcast is the Liquid Courage Podcast, and on Instagram it's just Liquid Courage Podcast, or you can search it wherever you find your podcast, or on YouTube for video episodes. And I just started, I want to shout this out for a friend. I just started, I'm in this Star Wars themed Dungeons and Dragons campaign video series right now.
Excuse me.
So fun. And the reason that I want to specifically shout it out on this show is that I know nothing about Dungeons and Dragons, and I know next to nothing about Star Wars. I've watched 7 episodes of Mandalorian, basically. So I just thought it was so fitting with the brand that, like, I'm going in knowing nothing and just attempting to play as this, like, badass smuggler. Anyway, so that's on YouTube. It's called Role Player, and it's really fun. You can also find that on my Instagram as well. Yeah.
All right. Well, check it out, everyone. I'm going to check that out. I want to check it out and see the role play in action.
Yeah, see me attempt to navigate Star Wars and Dungeons and Dragons and understand what the fuck is happening.
So much to
and
juggle.
I chose a character who was the opposite to me. Like, I was like, sure, let's do everything opposite. So the inner turmoil of my choices is so evident. Like, I feel so guilty for all my choices, and I'm so confused what to do. But anyway, it's very fun. It's very fun. Thanks so much for having me, guys. It's been so fun. You guys are such lovely hosts, and it's so fun to listen. So it was, like, extra fun to be a part of it. And I really want to come back for Julia Roberts month. So please hit me.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, Runaway Bride.
JR month.
Please, I call dibs.
JR
so
month.
fun.
All right.
Please dibs.
Let's do it. Runaway Bride.
JR.
That's a date.
Love it. Date. Okay, I'll see you at our date.
Well, if you want to follow us, listeners, if you don't already, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Haven't Seen It Podcast, and Twitter at haven't_seen_it. You can also go to our website, haven'tseenitpodcast.com. The giant list of movies is on there that Alinka hasn't seen. Amanda can attest that there's a lot of movies she hasn't seen as well. And check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us, and YouTube. We don't have video episodes yet, but I do a little waveformy thing. So if you want a visual, that's what you get. Also, this Friday, March 19th, this is our big live stream episode. Woo! We are talking about 49 trivia questions Alinka has to answer.
My heart's beating so much right now.
I'm so
already.
nervous for you,
so
Alinka, and like
stressed.
I'm so excited at the same time. I think you're going to do so fucking well. I'm just really scared for you.
I'm telling you, I'm not going to do well. I'm telling you right
I believe in you, Alinka. I believe in you.
Guys, I
Stakes will be high. We have live guests.
I'm a people pleaser, and I am stressed about this because you guys are depending on me, and it's going to be a nightmare.
No, you'll be fine. It's going to be beautiful.
You'll be so good.
Okay.
But everyone will love you regardless.
Thanks.
I'll be there. 100%. I'll be there to help. I'm not really there to help. I'm there to make sure that you don't win. But I will be there. So will some live guests.
He will be there, period. That's all. It's just a fact. I will be present, and that's it. Whether it's comforting or
good
not.
Good enough for me.
Yeah.
Live guests, drinking. We're also doing a giveaway. Go to our Instagram. Yes. We're doing a giveaway. We have 1 pint glass with the Haven't Seen It logo on it. You've seen it in our posts, and you may be the proud owner of that. So check out our Instagram for those details, as well as a 6-pack from People's Pint Brewery from the Junction. We're giving those away, and we'll be doing that live on the live stream Friday the 19th. So go in, like, share,
A little bit
Kind of, yes.
Oh my god, I totally want to buy a pint glass and then I'll just use that to drink on my podcast because I have video episodes.
Stop.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
there
anyway, you know what? No, but this is the part where I say this after we're finished recording. So hold on, I'll message you after about buying a pint glass. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll message
We'll
about
have a pint
that.
glass.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Go to Instagram, check that out. And, you know, you could be the proud owner of a haven't seen a pint glass that you can pour all that people's pint beer into.
Yeah.
So check it out this Friday. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be terrifying. And you guys, on that note, get rid of those toxic relationships, hit up your therapist, and fucking take a hot bath, honey. Give yourself a little self-care. Good night.